Out, Holmes.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back once again to Hot Toys Hotline Live. I just had to have Lane cut off his thought. We were talking about a lot of juicy stuff backstage. Some of it may be brought up on the stream at some point. But how's everybody doing tonight? We have a lot of good people here in the chat already before we even get started. It's always good to see. Insane One here as always. Insane One was here saying soon. It's like that meme of someone having their hand against the window, looking through the window. As I'm hearing myself, hold on, let me mute this stream. There we go. But we got Insane One, Mr. Mom Collectibles. Mr. Mom hit me up on Instagram. He said, "Hey, I'll be there, setting the notification." So I appreciate you, dude. As always, we're gonna have to get Mr. Mom on here soon. If you guys don't know, he does have his own channel, so definitely check that out if you haven't already. But yeah, guys, not too much info this week. There is some exciting stuff. We did get an announcement and a release, even though it seems like not many people have it in hand yet, other than Sideshow and Hot Toys themselves. But the figure that I'm referring to is the Mech Test Tony Stark, guys. Yes, the Mech Test Tony Stark. And I know this is one that...
It's not a dream.
It's not a dream.
It is real.
Lane has been kind of popping in and talking with me about this ever since... it really first got announced, and he's like, "Oh, where's the Mech Test Tony Stark? I might be interested if I see the final product. Where's the Mech Test Tony Stark?" And I'm like, "Dude, I don't know." Here it is finally. I've seen some criticism so far of this. There were a couple shots of the original and this one next to each other.
I didn't like the viewpoints though.
Yeah, and some people were saying that they thought that the paint wasn't really much improved on the kind of the armored portions, but I don't think that it was bad by any means. I do agree that it didn't seem like they changed much, but I could see some slight improvements between the two. Of course, take that with a grain of salt because I have not seen them both in hand. I've never actually seen this figure in person, but it didn't look like there was any issues with the paint on the new one. That's just an observation that seems like a lot of people had. With that being said, though, this sculpt is absolutely beautiful. And this photo in particular, I absolutely love it.
Really good.
Absolutely beautiful. And this is very genius because this is like the man in the machine, you know, kind of both sides to Tony Stark.
And it shows off one of the special edition.
Right. And this is one of the coolest accessories. This and the proof that Tony Stark has a little arc reactor box that Pepper made for him. This figure comes with some of the coolest accessories for a Tony Stark figure, in my opinion. And that's what's kind of drawing me to this figure. Apart from this beautiful head sculpt, this is not only Tony Stark kind of when he's starting out and developing his suits, but this is more of a human side to Tony Stark that we don't see as much with these die-cast Iron Man figures, because this is really Tony Stark with very minimal armor on him, you know? So this is definitely a unique figure. And I've never picked up an actual Tony Stark figure. They have done them in the past, they being Hot Toys. I've never actually picked one up. So this one is intriguing to me for sure.
And it is a 2.0, but this one was made like 10 or 12 years ago, the original.
Right.
So the body's going to be better. Like there's going to be parts of this that are better than the original. There's no.
And I wish I could find those comparison photos. The shirt is definitely different. Like the color of the shirt is different. The fitment of the shirt is different. The pants are absolutely different. The pattern looks similar, but not the same. They look much better tailored, of course. But like you said, this is a very old figure. So you would expect with that amount of time frame to at least see the bare minimum of improvements, that being paint apps and tailoring and such. Again, I can't really speak to people comparing the paint job on the metal and the wiring within the armor pieces. I think it looks great from what I'm seeing here. And we're going to watch the Sideshow video here soon so we can kind of see a better look of it on video. Because even our friend Reagan from MRC does not have this figure in hand yet. So we're going to be watching Sideshow's video. Ekwan, how's it going, bro? Good to see you. Some guy here as always. Good to see you, some guy. I hope you're doing well. Some guy, every time I see your picture, I know I always say it, but I want that Winter Soldier 2.0. That's what we need. That's a figure that needs a 2.0. Because as you guys know, that figure is just kind of falling apart on everybody at this point. So definitely need that. Kumar, good to see you as always. There's never a Hot Toys Hotline stream and or really anything, social media posts, whatever, without Kumar. So good to see you, Kumar. I'm doing great. I hope you're doing well. Boba Fettuccini, he said, "I don't collect Iron Man, but this one looks very cool." Yeah, and I think this one's cool, especially for people that don't have any Iron Man figures in their collection. And maybe you're not big on the whole die-cast thing, which I love the die-cast Iron Man, but maybe you're not big on the whole die-cast thing. This is something different. And if you want to have some version of Iron Man and or Tony Stark in your display, this may be a good option, you know. Some guy, I did film the review for my Stealth Suit Cap yesterday. I just have to do the intro and the outro. I usually film that afterwards, believe it or not. So once I film the intro and the outro, then I have to edit everything. So I will have it edited this weekend. Most likely I will post it early next week. And I do have another review of a non-hot toy related item that I need to record next week as well. So I do have some stuff in the pipeline, but definitely expect that by next week. It will absolutely be up probably by the middle of next week. I just didn't have time because the video itself, the raw footage was like 28 minutes long before the intro. So it's a lot to edit, you know. But yeah, guys, this is really nice, and I think this head sculpt is absolutely beautiful. I think they knocked it out of the park. I mean, that's, to me at least, that's Robert Downey Jr. through and through. I'd like to hear your guys' thoughts on this sculpt because obviously the head sculpt is always, and people in the chat as well. The head sculpt is always a big point of discussion and debate. But thankfully for this one, it seems like for the most part, everybody's like, yeah, they rocked it with this head sculpt. This head sculpt's nice. So anybody on the panel, feel free to jump in. I want to hear everybody's thoughts on this head sculpt. For me, again, this is really solid. This is like a 9 out of 10 for me easily. Lane, let's hear.
I'm not an Iron Man fan, so
yeah,
it's awesome though.
I'm passing on this. You know, son's the Iron Man fan, so even he didn't want this. He's more about certain armors for Iron Man. But I mean, anybody's getting this. I mean, congratulations! It is an outstanding looking figure. I mean, that head sculpt compared to the original is 10 times better.
Yeah.
Gosh, we hope so. After 12 years.
I think that we can, at the very least, we can say that the sculpt is much improved.
I may not be getting it, but I can appreciate, you know, everything that this figure offers for those who do want it. You know, this is an amazing figure. You know, definitely Robert Downey Jr. hands down. You can tell the fabric and everything's been updated from the original. So I mean, you almost can't even say it's a 2.0. It's almost like a whole new figure because everything is new on it.
Yeah, there seems to be a lot of improvements for sure. I would agree with that.
I'd still call it a 2.0 because it had the same look and style and design as like the old figure. It's always about me.
That should be a TV show all about Lane. That's the name of the show.
Yeah. Sounds like it'd be a top ratings grab if there ever was one.
I'd watch it.
Well, I'll say I really like the head sculpt for it. I know from like having watched like the Sideshow unboxing, you know, the first thing, and I did watch their entire unboxing. Like I kind of went back a little bit when they were messing with it. I do think maybe the facial paint apps are a little bit light on it, but it's, I mean, a little bit. I still think, like you said, though, I do think maybe it makes him look a tiny bit older than like young. I mean, Robert Downey Jr. was like, you know, 11 or 12 years younger when he was in this movie versus, you know, some of the Endgame Cap or Endgame Mark 85 and stuff. But it's, you know, I'm not going to get too hold up. You know, I don't get too held up on that kind of thing. It's Robert Downey Jr. as Tony Stark, and it's a good head sculpt. You know, if he looks 5 years too older in comparison, I mean, okay, I guess. Oh well, you know, it's now it is a $280 to $305 figure, so it's not a, you know, even still.
Right, it's an expensive figure for sure.
Yeah, especially when you think about that the difference between them is the big, you know, dummy.
Right.
And that's only $25 difference. If I would probably
the dummy, I love that.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, because I was leaning towards the regular one, not the deluxe, because I
feel like you got to get that arm though.
I know, but in the way I would display it, there would be no room or anything for it whatsoever. That's the only reason I would
make room for it. Lane.
No, because I have a specific vision of way I'm setting stuff up. He'd be mixing in with like 5 other Iron Man figures, so there would be zero space for it. But I do think if you were planning maybe to do this is more like
that's super
standalone.
Cool. Speaking of the arm, just having him standing next to it, kind of like he's working in the shop. That's really cool, man.
Now, the one thing I'm wondering with this, because we haven't seen it, you know, one thing to consider for this box is the box for this thing is huge because of diorama background is monstrous. It's absolutely ridiculously huge. That's why the box is so big.
I wonder if they even show it in these photos.
Yeah. I mean, if we get and show a little bit like of the first look from Sideshow or something.
Yeah, we're gonna pull that up next.
Yeah, but
that looks like one of the old plastic Iron Man figures.
But the diorama, because this comes with the larger style base that they do, the much bigger one, like this coming with the Neo and stuff, and it goes around that. I think with the arm, like that makes a great scene. But like even that, but it's that diorama background that's helps the reason partially.
Yeah, I'll pull the video up to help us out here.
Yeah. So if we just get to the first part, of course we got to watch this stuff.
Come on, Dr. Joe, get out of here, man.
Yeah.
That's Lane's doctor
right there.
Shout out to
so
Lane's
see
doctor.
how big that box is. That's because of the diorama and
it's
also
glorious though.
It's
glorious box.
I actually chat. This is to you guys and stuff. I actually think this is one of the coolest I'm not going to say for everything because you might like different stuff, but I think for Iron Man type figures that this is one of the coolest.
Look at like the Mark 1 on the left side.
Yeah,
that's really cool.
Just
speaking of chat, we got a lot of comments.
Box to take up space though.
Yeah. I do wonder. Because originally one of the reasons I figured the box for this was going to be so big was one of the reasons I also considered not getting with the dummy because I thought that was going to be the main reason it was so huge, and it does take up a lot of space. But apparently, it's the background because it's so large and flat underneath.
Right.
That's why the box is so big. Does that mean probably the regular edition? Is it like the same size as this?
That's a good question. We haven't seen the box for that one yet. I don't believe.
Yeah,
I mean,
but
someone in the comments.
This is a great. Can you just look at this? Like, cause that's basically, I think, the entire background with some of the extra stuff on it.
Yeah.
So, because
you can see the actual like little gantry arm is not very big either.
Yeah, it's yeah. I know it feels kind of weird that this thing has such a super ass big box.
Right. The little diorama pieces aren't very big, like you said. That's like the size of the Neo base and.
Yeah, and
the Thanos base.
Yeah, and then but that thing is why.
Yeah,
see
there
how
it
long
is.
that is?
Right.
So it is one thing if you never, so it's cool, but at the same time, if you never plan to use those or you don't use them, you're like, it's all taking up a lot.
See
more
this right here. That's what I would use.
Yeah,
I wouldn't. I'm not going to use that giant backdrop now.
No, but this looks really cool. See, now let me ask you, so that not dominating the entire conversation here. CMB.
Hold up real quick.
Sorry, go ahead.
Look, man, I got my box in, and guess what, Boba? Guess what? It's pristine. And also, everybody who went for that release, damn well ain't nobody have time to select double boxing or do anything else, because if you didn't immediately grab that when you had the chance, that website absolutely took a crap on everybody. So get out of here with that, Boba Fett.
Real quick. No, put yourself back up. Make yourself front line. Take your finger, look towards the other direction. Take your hand and slowly point back over your shoulder. Yeah. Boba, what do you think that is in the corner there? That is what we call Still Sue, Captain America 2.0. So
Lane's got
it is definitely real. That's definitely real. Anyway, sorry,
he's definitely butthurt though.
No.
Maybe no, Boba Fettuccine. He made a joke on I don't know if you guys have seen it, people in the chat. I put up a funny little.
No, I meant Lane.
Oh, Lane. Well, that's a different story. 1-6 shooter. I'm kind of right there with you, and it seems like Lane was this way for a while. We were kind of going back and forth of whether we wanted this figure or not. I'm still on the fence, and Lane, I believe Lane, you're kind of right there with me. We're kind of waiting for a deal to pop up to kind of make that leap and grab this figure.
The one thing for me to get this is, like, let's say the special editions sell out for whatever reason, like while we're waiting. I would not buy this without getting the mask and the mini arc reactor.
Me either. That's like the biggest selling point,
Yeah, because I mean, as much as I think this, so guys, if you're considering this, I would consider this. I mean, it's like we talked about. CMB. It's $280 to $300. This is an expensive figure, however you comparison it here.
Yeah.
And
what?
There's not a whole lot that comes with this figure. Also, for like posing with the arms, he is going to be a little restricted just by the nature of the figure itself, because you got to be careful for the wires and all that stuff on the arm pieces. Go ahead.
I was going to say, going off your point earlier, I do think he looks a bit younger in this sideshow video than he did in those promo photos. Because I could see what you mean in the promo photos. I think here he does look younger. Yeah. Especially in this really harsh lighting that they use in these videos.
Yeah. Yeah. Because the other things he did kind of look, like
the
a
wires
couple of those angles. Though. Yeah. I know people have been a little thing, but I think the detail on the outfit and everything like that is actually really good on him.
Yeah.
I have a hard time with this figure is the price point to me feels a little bit high. I think that it looks like they put enough effort into the figure, but I didn't own the original or anything like that. So it's, I'm kind of coming at not having maybe owned it before or seen it very much. I might be almost at least look-wise almost exactly the same, or well, it should be sort of like that anyway. But I feel like for this figure, you have to be a completionist almost for Iron Man.
Right.
If you're only trying to have a couple Iron Mans or something like that, because this, I don't know. So like some of you guys like CMB, Chris, Nightmare, does this feel like more like it's not a buy solo figure or like this is the only Tony Stark I'm buy? It's like a complimentary figure if you already have a couple.
Yeah, absolutely.
Other Iron Mans and stuff.
It's one of those pieces that you put together. Like if you're got some big diorama set up or whatever, that's what I think this fits into. Just because in the films, it's only those specific scenes that you get something like this. You know what I'm saying? One thing he does have going for him, I do like how metallic it looks.
Mm-hmm.
All the wires and stuff. It's pretty good looking, but
some people
I agree with Lane as far as like it just. Yeah, it's not something
that's going to be like a little runt when he's not in his armor.
Can you stop right here real quick, Connor? Sorry. Does it look now? Some people were complaining
this is Lane's
about
favorite shot right here. That's why I wanted me to pause it.
Yeah, totally.
The groin tells all.
You want to see the iron junk?
Yeah,
that's why, because it's the package. He's not happy.
It's derail. All right, go ahead. Go ahead, Lane. Go ahead.
Brother, but some people were complaining.
He did mention he liked the package, by the way. I'm just saying.
I'm sorry, Lane. I didn't realize I was going to get Sean started. I didn't realize it.
Yeah. Sorry, Lane. Sorry, Lane.
It's okay. Shut up, Gree.
Thanks for coming out, folks.
Yeah, I'll see you guys later. Bye. But some people were complaining about some of, at least from some of the pictures and stuff. If we look at, with like the paint for the supposed to be the metal pieces of the arms and everything, that they looked light and made it look plasticky, kind of. We're looking really plasticky. I know, like I like Optical 20s, like his kind of look at the pictures, and he discussed that a little bit too. Seeing here, like the actual physical, I know we're not physically in hand, but this is about as close as we can get right now. To me, I think on the arm pieces there, like on the main flat parts of the arm, that looks pretty metallic-y to me. Like
and
maybe a little shiny.
That's what I was just saying.
You can see the shine and the reflection on the light. I mean, I could see where some people would be like, okay, that looks a little toyish, but at the same time, I don't think it looks bad. I just think that's kind of the nature of these armor pieces. It's not like a full-on piece of armor. It's got all those crevices and
even
such.
Iron Man. For some of the main Iron Mans, because there's still plastic in them. There's still parts of it that look
right. I was saying it's shiny enough. It looks metallic. So I think that part.
I think it looks good. Yeah, I think it looks good. But again, I don't have the original to compare it to. So that was the biggest topic of conversation. Is people are like, this one versus that one. Real quick, guys, before we move forward, there's a lot of comments piling up. I want to address a few. And this is kind of going off of Chris's point too, and Lane as well. Mr. Mom says he can't wait to get this to go along with the Mark III construction. And again, that's an example of that's a perfect companion piece for this. It's like a lot of people aren't going to be like, all right, I'm getting one Iron Man. Which one do I want? It's not going to be this one, And another comment, and hopefully I didn't lose it. It might have been Ekwan, I believe. Ekwan said, oh, here we go, right here. He said it would be a great centerpiece for the Hall of Armor, and that's brilliant. If you have that full Hall of Armor and you got this guy up in the front there, that'd be amazing. I mean, that's
the lighting
tells a story too.
That Don's actually got a good idea for it too. Don's saying if you can get a 1/6 couch, you can recreate that couch scene.
Yeah, that would be really cool too.
Don brought up a good idea with that.
It's a good figure. Like this one is like
Sign that contract, Lane. You
Yeah,
got to sign that contract.
Like I
man.
said, the whole diorama thing, you could have the
Violet,
vest
how
with all
you
the
doing,
parts
Violet?
on
Hope
it
you're doing
and the
well.
cart, like just paperwork, all of it. Like, I'm working on stuff.
Yeah, it's
Box
I
of the
think
year, baby.
I think that what it makes it a little bit hard is because we're also in the holiday season right now. So with possibly some other, I mean, the problem is we don't the problem being a hot toy with Hot Toys collectors or higher end collectibles like this, you never have an exact idea exactly when something's going to drop, if it's going to get delayed. I mean, I don't mean just Hot Toys. I mean premium format statues, whatever. Any stuff like this can sometimes you don't know it's supposed to be in this time frame, and then just it gets delayed 6 months without you knowing it. This figure is cool. However, this was announced a way long time ago.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
The timing for this figure may be off, where and we always say we don't know exactly what's going to sit and what's not going to sit anymore. We assume it's going to be stuff from this year and stuff is
right. I mean,
that new norm, but
yeah, but like a general rule of thumb, I feel like the older releases that went up for pre-order last year and are just now releasing, those will probably or even longer. We'll have a chance to use coupons and stuff on them. Most likely, it's really the newer stuff.
He's still on coupons still too. Both of these, except
HG. What's up, brother? I hope you're doing well, man. Good to see you.
Except you cannot use it, at least right now. Like if you were using one of the $20 on the deluxe special edition. And that has not worked for a while, which is the main part. The other
they do that a lot. I don't know why they do that. They bar people from using like the cyborg,
the Wonder Woman,
and she's the only one left.
And you literally can't pre-order it because the regular version has been waitlisted forever.
Right, we're blaming you for this, Lane. Wolf Moon says now he really wants this Tony Stark, and you've been speaking so eloquently about him since we started talking about him. So I'm going to blame you. Okay. Wolf Moon, just let us know in chat that it is Lane's fault that you're making this purchase. But hey, that's not a bad thing. That's not a bad thing at all. It was Lane all along. Oh, yeah. Perfect reference to WandaVision. If you guys haven't seen WandaVision, great show by the way. You guys have to watch WandaVision if you haven't already. Our boy Insane One, as always, don't take your like with you. Leave it here. Take a subscription while you're at it to the Hot Toys Hotline and all these great panelists. If you haven't already, yes, guys.
Let's go.
If you haven't checked out Collecting Madness, Hot Toys Nightmare, links are in the description. Definitely check out that channel at some point today. They're always putting out new content for sure.
This is cool. Like these little things, I think, are really what makes.
Yeah, like this is the most beautiful accessory in this set for sure. The fact that it actually has a little mini LED in there. I mean, I'm certain the battery probably dies in 10 seconds because it's so small, but it is really cool, dude. It really is.
They did.
You can put those on the desk.
Yeah. This is
a. Sorry guys. Kumar says he posted. I'm guessing he's talking about the Hot Toys Hotline group. Keep talking. I'm gonna see if I can pull that up.
I think this is, I will say I'm actually a little bit surprised how much
there it is. Wow, guys.
Okay, go ahead.
Lane, everybody really wait. I can't believe how different the head sculpt is. I mean, I looked at this briefly, but I didn't really look at it in depth. I mean, wow. Okay.
Wow.
So wait till you see the close up of the head sculpt. Look at the difference, man. That's like a Tony Stark cosplayer. That's what
that actually looks like Tony Stark from the comics, man.
Right? It does. It looks like an animated Tony Stark.
Yeah, it looks like comic.
Look at the like with the hair, like kind of the comb over part of the hair and everything like that.
Yeah, I mean,
so much better.
Definitely like some more individual strands.
If you add a little bit more paint apps, that'd be the what if Tony Stark.
Right.
You just add a little bit of like the more animated paint apps that could literally pass for what if Tony Stark.
Even their facial hair has gotten better.
Yeah,
the eyebrows.
You can see it.
Wow.
Yeah, and the eyebrows definitely. Yeah, I mean all around. I mean that's what
been
the improvements.
11 years.
Right.
Well, I mean, at this point,
gotten better.
Yeah, for $300 figure, it better not be looking like that much like the one from 10 years. But look at that, just the fine tuning of just the with the beard, with his goatee and everything, and showing how much thinner it is, so it's a little
looks less toyish, right? It looks more realistic.
Just on on the upper part of his hair, where for whatever reason he's making me think of Doctor Strange from this view, Benedict Cumberbatch. just the details in the hair, like just with his sideburns there, a little bit.
And look at the change in the hair piece. Look at the left, how it has that like split gap in the middle. On the right, it's more of a jumbled piece of hair.
Yeah, I really think like this really puts into perspective.
Yeah.
At least with the head sculpt, which for a figure like this is I because it's not an Iron Man or something like that. I think this fit, and it's also not a superhero outfit or like Captain America or something like that. So it doesn't have those things with it. Like a figure like this, I think is way more about the head sculpt being a big difference maker.
Right, and look at this. Look at the difference in scale on the Iron Man armor. From the left to the right. So obviously it was undersized with the original release, so they had to scale it up a little bit.
But a lot more detail. I mean,
I could see improvements here. I could see where people are like the silver paint wasn't much of a change, but it's like they were doing a good job with the silver paint years ago.
Look at there. If you look at like the kind of the second, the middle there of the feet, like if you look at that big kind of metal piece, like it's right in the middle. If you compare how the one on the left with the older one looks versus the detail and everything on the right there.
Yeah.
Like it looks like it's a little bit moved out almost in comparison, more defined and stuff.
I think so too, yeah.
Now,
shout out to
Cool. I think these are as good as like the Darth Maul feet or something like that with the DX18.
No, not at all, yeah.
Yeah. So that's not a good comparison, but I can see where you kind of say looking at some with the clothes and everything.
Now look at this. So as you're bringing that up, so 1/6 shooter says he looks a little too padded, especially the waist. The shoulders look too rounded. I will say this: look at the trap area on the old figure versus the new figure. Look at that gap between the neck. That I'm just now noticing, and that's not like the best considering this is a much newer figure. And you can kind of see that here if we zoom in a little bit. You see what I'm talking about? That like, gap here in the neck. It almost looks like when you do like a kit bash and you use one of these head sculpts that has the attached neck. There's a bit of a gap there. I almost feel like it's not padded quite enough in the shoulder area.
Like with Cable.
Right.
Kind of looking stuff with his shirt off and stuff.
Exactly. I can't even unsee an animated Tony Stark now that
I know
CMB
it doesn't
has
even
look
like him anymore.
Right. It does look like look at it. It looks like an animated Tony. This looks like the What If Tony versus like the live action Robert Downey Jr. This is
dude, look how yoked animated Tony is.
Right. I mean, he's got like full on traps and stuff. And it's like if we had something kind of in the middle here to make those shoulders look a little bit more padded, I think that'd be an improvement. But again, you could see guys like
Tony, like, do you even lift, bro?
Right.
Yeah,
he's about to wrap around your neck and put you in a chokehold. That's what he's about to do. Don says you can't find the right 1/6 couch. You could mod this into the scene where he's watching TV. Oh, that's the comment we saw earlier. As an engineer, I have to get this. I love the exposed parts and wiring. I also like the seam in the field. Yeah, dude. I mean, this is right up your alley. If you're an engineer, this is like a dream figure for you. This is really, really cool. Oh yeah, Lane's a money shot. No, it is no Throbbing. Hey, we're actually going to talk about Throbbing in a little bit, Don. Funny you bring him up. My boy Demetrius says, I really like this one. I really do too. I'm on the fence, but I really, really do like it.
That figure is on the coupon right now, the Throbbing.
I know, dude. I'm definitely getting those for sure, but
of course it is, Lane.
I just thought that was funny because
Lane specifically watches the figures that are well endowed in the package area. He has a wish list with all of those figures.
He brought it on himself.
Is this USB power with all the wires sticking out of it? It would be a perfect candidate for USB. I don't think so. No, I think this is battery powered.
I think
unfortunately it should have been USB though.
I think the first USB Iron Man we're gonna was started from the beginning with USB as the basis.
Mark 1 reissue.
No, Silver Centurion Armor. I think that's scheduled to come out first as of right now.
That is, it's scheduled to come out.
Quote scheduled.
Yeah, but wasn't the Mark 1 announced before the Silver Centurion?
Yeah, but
armor?
Yes.
But
does anything that Hot Toys does make sense?
No, so that means I was right. Mark 1 is
I would agree with
USB.
CMB on that.
Yeah, but Mark 1 was announced like a year, like 9 or 10 months before the Silver Centurion. So
Iron Man USB. I was
right. Priorities, collector. Priorities, man.
I'm putting coming out. That's what I said. Coming out.
In reality, though, you got to look at the MMS number because that tells you exactly which one's the first of anything. Because if you got the MMS number,
Lane,
that tells you when they started developing and when they started building it to actually make it. Like everybody assumes that the first die cast that Hot Toys ever made was the Iron Man Mark 42, but it wasn't.
Right side.
The first
right side
one
is the 2.0.
was the Iron Patriot. The Iron Patriot's MMS number is less than the Mark 42. And the diecast number for the Iron Patriot is 001 versus the diecast Mark 42, which is diecast 002. So it just all depends on the MMS. So whatever the MMS is for the Silver Centurion versus the Mark 1, maybe the Silver Centurion is. Maybe it's not. I don't have those numbers with me right now. But either way, the first one we knew about was the Mark 1.
That's all
the
I
first
needed
one
to hear.
expected to release.
That's all I needed to hear.
But the first one expected to release is the Silver Centurion.
The Mark 1 is the best out of what we're talking about.
So technically, you're both right, and you guys just need to hug it out.
All is right with the
Hug it
world.
out.
Oh, and hey, real quick, Sean, don't forget, we just had the election, but the big year is 2025 for some Mace Windu on the ticket.
Here we go again with this slanderous talk about Mace Windu.
No, we're not going to. Dude, it's not about you. What the heck, man?
It's about Steve Showcase, because Steve Showcase is here, everybody. How's it going, Steve Showcase? Good to see you, bro.
Hey, Steve, tell us what you feel about Mace running in 2025.
Oh, my God.
Is he independent?
Matt, how's it going,
I
bro?
think so.
Thank you, Matt, for pointing out whoever's Discord. I'm guessing it's Lane who had the Discord in the background, because I checked mine because I thought it was me. It's not me, I promise. It may be Lane. I don't know. Don says, I bought a 1/6 single fig case from Belgium for 63 shipped. And there's a national mail strike in Belgium now. Oh, that's nice. Perfect timing, huh? Perfect timing. Let's see. What else we got here? Oh, yeah. Don says 19 likes. Let's pump those numbers up. Yes, guys, if you have not liked the stream already, please consider doing so. We have 35 people. As always, guys, thank you so much for being here. Really exciting Thursday night again. We didn't have too much information tonight, but we still have some really fun stuff to talk about. So hang around if you're still here with us. Yes. So Steve, I'm actually seeing
correctly.
I'm seeing Black Panther tomorrow. Actually, I'm really excited. Anybody in the chat, when are you guys seeing Black Panther? And on the panel, do you guys have your tickets yet? I got my tickets yesterday, so I'm really excited to see it tomorrow after work. No spoilers, of course, guys. If you've seen it already, no spoilers in the chat, please. But you won't get any from the panel because none of us have seen it, I don't believe. So
no. But after we move on for Serotonin.
So we're actually about to move on now. So go ahead, Lane.
About to say certain other thing. Hot Toys decided to go, hey guys, here's something else you might be interested in.
Really?
Well, no, I meant the other figure now we're gonna look at.
Yeah, so we're easing our way into it, guys. So there was actually a nice little Black Panther event that went on in HK. You could see this is actually a 1-to-1 scale replica of Lane in a Black Panther suit, and I think it's pretty impressive how well detailed, and they kind of matched his sculpted body perfectly. So really cool. Lane, we appreciate you posing for that.
Yeah. I think we may be a little bit off on that.
Hey, don't sell yourself short. Yes, Matt. Matt, we're going to get to that in a little bit. Don't worry. There's a lot of exciting stuff coming from them, so we're definitely going to talk about that. So, guys, I wanted to ask you this question, and I want to pose this question to the chat as well. Who here thinks that we're going to get the throne again? And now so for me, I'm going to start and we'll kind of go down the line. For me, it's hard to say because this throne didn't seem to sell very well. And I know of a couple places locally that still have it kind of sitting on the shelves. One of them being actually the place close to Chris around his neck of the woods. But there's also a place around me that has one still sitting on the shelf as well. However, obviously, with this film, there's a big struggle over the throne that we've seen in the trailer. So I feel like being that the throne is so involved in this film, I feel like we might see a throne release again. But feel free to chime in.
If it's damaged in the movie, I think we'll see it.
Oh, that's interesting.
You know,
I wonder if we'll see that.
If there's like an epic fight, I bet we'll see it with an individual figure. So
that would be cool.
I think that's what the only way that we'll see it is
Yeah.
it comes with another figure. Like, for example, a lot of people held off on buying the throne when they teased the King T'Challa.
Right. And they showed it again, and we're going to show this photo, but it's crazy.
And they thought
showed
that
it again.
they thought that they were going to put them as a 2-pack. So a lot of people didn't buy the throne at that time.
Yeah, and it's like they're showing it again, so I'm wondering if there's some sort of flashback with T'Challa sitting on the throne, and that's why they're showing it again. I mean, obviously, we have no idea until we actually see it, but
I'm with you, and we had talked about this. I think it was yesterday, the day before, when we saw these photos that I had mentioned I wanted the throne, and when they announced the new Black Panther figure, I went to my comic shop and it was gone. So it's no longer
really, so
my
it's
local.
not there anymore.
Yeah,
probably somebody else saw that trailer. They're like, "Damn!"
Yeah,
my
if it's
local shop
near
has
you,
your shop
if
has
it's
it.
near you, let me know because I
110
actually
for it.
do want it. And I'll pick it
so-
up whether it's a reissue or right now.
Yeah,
'cause
so Ekwan
I
is
do
saying
want it.
he heard there were flashbacks. So hey, I mean, again, it's hard to say because this didn't sell well. It was literally the ultimate shelf warmer, not only on Sideshow, but in local comic shops. It's like the ultimate shelf warmer. But it's like this is so important. Like the whole struggle for the throne is like so important in this film. It makes me think they might issue it again. But again, it could be like Lane was saying, maybe, or Sean was saying, like a pack. Maybe some sort of pack, like if they do the King T'Challa with the throne, like everyone was hoping for before. And I would hope so, because they did start this new Black Panther Legacy line. Obviously, the first release is the new Black Panther figure that was announced a few months ago. And it's like, if they're going to create a legacy line with a Chadwick Boseman figure, you would think that they have more planned for that line. And I could see that happening. I could see us getting the T'Challa with throne as part of that legacy line. And I would love to see that, because I've many times thought about going the third party route to get a ceremonial like outfit T'Challa. So I would love to see more releases for that legacy line. But yeah, I think it's possible.
Now, I don't think I would want it personally a 2-pack for somebody like me who's only planning to pick up
the
Black Panther, because if that was the case, then obviously I would have to get the set, and then that's also probably more expensive. You'll have the regular and then the deluxe with the throne or whatever. So if I could find just the throne itself, that'd be perfect for me.
People will be
sent a
splitting
private
it off
message for you about the throne.
Damn. Yeah. So cigars, I will we'll keep an eye out and see if this comes out again, but then maybe Chris will be reaching out to you. But yeah, so I'm hoping to see this again. So for me personally, if I were to get the throne, I wouldn't put any of the actual Panther suit figures on it because it looks horrible. The suit kind of bunches up really bad in the waist area. And I also wouldn't trust it sitting like that over time. So best case scenario would be the King T'Challa outfit with this throne coming out as a pack. That would be really, really cool. And it might not be this post by Hot Toys, but there is another one, if it's not this one, where you see that figure again. So we'll definitely talk about that. If it's not in here, we're going to pull it up. This is cool. They kind of have all of the looks like screen use outfits, I'm assuming, on display.
Mm-hmm.
These photos are a bit far back. So this is actually the new Legacy Black Panther. Look at that that glare on that. Almost looks like one of those memes where they have like the light up eyes. Those like anime memes. That's pretty funny. There's another figure that's like been down in the dumps on the secondary market forever. The King T'Chaka. Shuri, which is a figure that I still need. I'm still interested in getting this figure because I do really love this look for Shuri. And I don't know if we'll ever get that look again. So I'm definitely interested in. Oh, so right here we have that throne that I was speaking of, the throne with the King T'Challa. So we'll see if we actually have a closer up shot in this group of photos. I'm not sure if we do.
That's somebody cosplaying.
Yeah, I was about to say that doesn't look like no figure there.
Yeah.
You gained a little bit of weight, if so.
Rude.
Such a beautiful figure here, though, guys. Absolutely incredible figure. I'm so excited for this one. Out of all of the recent releases where we've seen an original release, and this is like a 2.0, they made so many improvements with this figure on this suit. It looks absolutely incredible. So I'm really, really excited to pick this up.
I'm also excited. I missed out on the first one, and man, once he passed, like I was upset that I didn't get into Hot Toys sooner because that price just
absolutely. They scalped the crap out of it when he passed away. Here it is right here. So
yeah, I just want him represented in the display.
Yeah. Best case scenario would be we get this set here because this is amazing. And again, look, I mean, you can see how posable he is. He's even got his little remember the joke that Shuri makes about his shoes? She says, "What are those?" And he's wearing these sandals. These are my royal sandals. Yeah, this is
I'll
really,
take
really
that
cool.
if he comes in those clothes, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's beautiful, and this would be perfect as a set. I would absolutely pick this up. It depends. Like someone said in the chat, Ekwan, he's saying that he heard there was a flashback scene. If that's the case, then I could see it making a lot of sense, especially for that legacy line. But I guess we'll have to wait and see. This guy says it better have this available for pre-order in the near future. We all know Hot Toys doesn't listen to us when we say stuff like that. Come on now.
Nope.
Hey, Clone Trooper said, I thought you said Thrawn release. Hey, pump the brakes, pal. We're not at Ahsoka yet. We don't have the Ahsoka show yet. Once we get closer to the Ahsoka show, then we'll be talking because we're actually going to get a Thrawn for the Ahsoka show.
Okay, let me throw a what if real quick. What if Thrawn is actually in Mando season 3?
That would be an interesting segue. I mean, it would make sense too, the way that they're kind of like obviously Mando showed up in Book of Boba Fett, and the way that they're kind of tying in the loose ends from each show into other shows. It would make a lot of sense if they kind of throw them in towards the end there. I could see it. Maybe being like a little end credit scene they throw in towards the end.
It does make sense because that time frame he'd be in the Outer Rim.
Right. So, I mean, I could see it. I absolutely could see it, and I would be excited about that. Guys, here we have our Avengers Campus Spider-Man without the churro in the book and everything, and without those exclusive accessories. Not sure when that's hitting Sideshow. It should be soon. Maybe they're waiting for the next event. I'm not sure. Don't know if we have anything else exciting from here. Looks like just a bunch of people posing on the throne. But guys, we're going to move on to the next bit of information here when it comes to Black Panther. I think those other photos are it. Yeah. Okay. So we're going to move on to the next bit of information. And guys, with this, very, very pleased. I'll say right off the bat, I'm very, very pleased by this price. And this kind of goes back to what CMB and I always have brought up, how they kind of like throw us bones here and there with the pricing. And this is definitely one of them. And it's such a random number too. 264, not 265, 264. Now, this is interesting because this figure does include a head sculpt. They haven't shown us the head sculpt yet. And guys, for those of you that don't know, I'd be surprised if you didn't already. We obviously know who this is as Black Panther. And if you don't want to know who that is, if you're not already aware of who it is, and you might want to step out for a second because we'll briefly talk about it. But it's not a spoiler. I mean, we know who it is. She has some of her same gauntlets and stuff just redesigned that she used in the first film. And she has that same kind of ceremonial dotted paint on her forehead. This is the Shuri Black Panther. We saw it in the trailer. It was shown by Lego like 3 months ago. We saw the figure with the Shuri head sculpt and everything. So at this point, everybody should know that this is Shuri. If you're a fan of the film, it's very easy to spot that. Carlito, how's it going, brother? We just started talking about the new Shuri Black Panther figure.
If you looked at the backside of the figure first, you would have been like, "Oh, Brie Larson must be playing this character."
Yeah, I could see that.
I was going to say, like, the dots on the Panther mask are kind of a dead giveaway.
Right. That and the once you see those little blaster, like forearm blasters that she had in the first film. Not only that, again, it's like this is obviously like one of the very obvious choices. Most people were like, it's either going to be Shuri or M'Baku. We kind of had an idea that it was going to be Shuri because it is her sibling, and she had a very prominent role in the first film. So I'm not surprised by it. Me personally, and I do want to hear everybody's thoughts on this suit. Me personally, I think this suit is absolutely beautiful. I really, really dig all the details and such. And I feel like even if you're not a fan of the actual design of the suit, you can appreciate the work that's gone into it by Hot Toys, because I think it looks really, really nice. And I love all the individual details and such on the suit. We can get a closer up photo here. Let's see. That's a little bit better. But you can see like all of the different little design patterns in between all these little metal accents. I think it looks really, really beautiful. I will say though, guys, looking at this suit, this is going to be one of those suits you want to be very careful posing it. It will probably be restrictive, but the main thing is this looks like the exact same material as both the Killmonger and the other Black Panther suits. So it definitely is prone to damage over time if you stretch it too far. So definitely be careful with this one. because you're going to have that same issue. Unfortunately, it's just the nature of the design of these suits. There's really no other material they could use right now with where they are as a company in terms of technology. So it's just kind of the nature of it. To get a more movie accurate look, they have to use this material. So there's some trade-offs here and there. But feel free to chime in, and we could start with Chris if you want. What are your thoughts on this figure, Chris? Do you like the look of the suit? Is this something you're going to be picking up, or you just appreciate it for what it is and you're going to move on?
I do like the way it looks. I'm going to appreciate it and not grab it. I think I'm going to stick with Chadwick as the Black Panther in my display. I'm excited to see the movie, though. I'm not upset, that it's going to be female or somebody else or anything like that. I think this suit actually looks really cool, and I'm excited to see what this version of Black Panther can do and what the suit actually looks like in the film as well.
Yeah, I agree. And we did see briefly in the most recent trailer, we kind of saw her climbing on the side of that, what was it, a boat or something in the trailer? And it looked really badass in action. So yeah, I could see a lot of people passing on this one. Like you said, I mean, we have the Black Panther Chadwick Boseman legacy figure on pre-order. So for a lot of people, despite how much they like the movie, they're probably going to stick with that one as their main
though,
Black Panther.
that FOMO or whatever, if it starts going
it could hit you, yeah.
And especially if the movie, it's already at 94%, with the critics and whatnot.
Right, it's doing well, yeah.
So people could be like, oh, this movie was bad, I gotta have the figure, and that happens a lot. So I could be one of them. You never know.
Boba says this suit is 100% badass. Lane, I'm interested because we haven't really talked about this one much. I'm interested to hear your thoughts on this figure and on the suit design as a whole.
Well, I like the look of the suit itself. The blasters look a little weird to me, but I thought they looked weird on Shuri originally anyway.
It's one of those things. It almost looks like a fish. I know it's supposed to be a panther, but it almost looks like a fish's mouth, like she went noodling. And she got a catfish over her arm.
Yeah, I'm guessing are those something either you replace the forearm or like they go over the forearm?
Yeah, the last figure, unfortunately, it slid over the forearm and she had seamless arms. So I've seen a lot where people like scratch the surface of the skin putting those on.
Yeah, well, this may not be because it's going to actually have a suit or something.
Of course, always be careful, but
yeah.
I
like the figure. I love the price point. I thought it was going to be $270 or higher.
Very nice.
I mean, for a main it's going to eventually we're going to see the head sculpt and everything.
Right.
I guess you could make the argument with the number of accessories it comes with and stuff. It's in the same ballpark as the Inquisitors that we've had released so far.
Yeah,
which are 260.
for sure. Yeah,
but those are secondary guys and stuff like that.
Right. This is a main character now.
This is the main. Yeah, this is the main. Like this is the Black Panther, the titular Black Panther going forward.
Right.
And if you compare it, like Obi-Wan and Vader were at least $295, around $300 or more,
right,
for their figures. So
seems to be the trend for now.
Yeah, so maybe they are trending down with some of the figures, like the pricing in certain respects for some of them, with the economy and stuff like that, where they might have to be making not everything jump quite as high as they would want to,
right.
Or depending on. It also could be factor in how well they necessarily think maybe some of the character or figures might sell, because they might be basing it off of like how did Shuri sell way back when, with the first Black Panther.
That's the only thing they have to go off of,
Yeah, you got to admit though, it does feel a little bit weird how what's the main character, like the main look suit of the titular next big Marvel movie coming out, is the price point of $264 when we like comparison it to like the Captain America you just got, which was a
$320.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah, that one hurt.
Yeah. Now obviously not speaking internationally, but from even Sideshow, you couldn't use anything on it. So you had to pay like $360 or something like that, depending on.
The only thing you could use is gift card balance. So thankfully, I had like $50 in gift card balance.
But I mean, that was so for that figure. As much as we wanted, it was limited. That was a really expensive price for what came with that figure. It's kind of, and I know was a really like quote exclusive, but who knows? even what the hell that like that terminology in collecting, exclusive, limited edition. It's hard even to figure out what the hell that means in collecting in general anymore.
Yeah.
You know, now that's a different case a little bit because that was actually like kind of a numbered one, which is we say hot toys we want to see sometimes. Yeah. And they might be dealing with, I mean, they've got a Chadwick Boseman, you know, new Black Panther figure up.
Right.
You
And
know?
that's the biggest competition for this. And like Chris was saying, for him, he's like, well, for the most part, my vision is just having the Chadwick Boseman Black Panther because that's the Black Panther representation I want in my collection. But kind of like Chris said towards the end, and like Carlito is saying here, he's like, well, it depends. Maybe after I see the film, maybe I'll change my mind. Maybe I'll be like, hey, now I'm interested in picking this one up. It definitely is very dependent upon the film for a lot of people, and myself included. Like Black Adam, I told you guys, and CMB both night we saw Black Adam. We're like, damn, now I want both of those Black Adam figures, you know. So it definitely happens. It certainly does happen.
Yeah,
and it's a smart way to go about things, you know.
I like Black Adam quite a bit too, but it wasn't good enough, like for me, where I was going to necessarily want. I decided I would want to buy a $360 figure for not collecting other really too much DCEU figures or having something.
That's fair.
Like, you know, honestly, if I had a Cavill Superman, like if I had at this point, I guess it's not talking about completely spoileristic stuff with the post-credit scene, since The Rock basically released it even before the movie came out. But if I owned a Cavill like Superman, or even if I had that, you know, the evil Superman or something like that,
black suit,
black suit, cool. Where you could have it like, you know, because they play with the whole multiverse as part of DC, where if you had the like Dark Side allied Superman versus The Rock like Black Adam, like if you had a Cavill Superman, doesn't matter which one, that would be a perfect. If you had that one, Black Adam gives you a figure you could put it with, other than if just like the Nightmare Batman or the Justice League set. So that makes sense, maybe.
See, I was thinking the same thing because like not even halfway through the movie, I wanted to get The Rock as well, and then definitely at the end, it just really pulled the trigger there.
Yeah, I love that movie, man. That's why I'm so excited for this one. I'm still on like a high from Black Adam. I'm like, dude, now we got Black Panther coming up, one of my favorite movies.
All I wanted to see is a reveal of an Andor figure in some form or fashion, though. Because
it's coming. Lane, I wanted to ask you this. Does this not give you like Michelle Pfeiffer vibes? Michelle Pfeiffer Catwoman, this sassy pose that she's in.
Well, you know, like the couple statues the 1/3 scale and stuff they just showed recently with her, that does kind of make me think that, or you know, this would be kind of a pose we'd see for, you know, the Hathaway Catwoman 2.0.
Right. It's very sassy. Like very sassy.
Yeah, see, that's what I was saying backstage to you. Like the idea, regardless of who it is, like the idea of a woman Black Panther is sexy to me. So just like a Catwoman or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. And some people seem to have this notion that this is like completely out of the ballpark and it's a bad choice. And it's like, it made the most sense, really. It made the most sense.
Shuri has in the comics
been
Black Panther a couple of like
and this is a living sibling of his. It makes total sense.
And now, admittedly, those runs utterly failed. Like sales wise, they crashed and burned, and quickly T'Challa was back. Now T'Challa was still alive, I think, in most of that time.
Right, and obviously this is a different situation because Chadwick Boseman not passed away tragically, like it would have been different. Obviously, Chadwick Boseman would still be playing the Black Panther. So this is a decision that was made solely based on what happened.
I would have preferred maybe if they were having like somehow Killmonger had come back, and maybe in some way or form or that.
Dude, I've heard that the end credit scene is amazing, and all I could think about is like, bro, there's no way they're gonna bring Killmonger back in the end credit scene, right? That's where my mind went initially.
Remember, guys, dude, they need to. I think this movie is going to be solid. If you think it's going to be better than the first Black Panther, I think you're going to set yourself up for failure and disappointment, because I think and what I've heard, everybody does a really good job in this movie. But Chadwick Boseman as T'Challa was the heart of the original movie for this one. So I think you have to try and go, even though it is a sequel, I think you have to try and go in with reserved expectations. And you can't expect it to be like the first movie because
it's not, and it never will be. And to me, I'm expecting it to be a love letter to Chadwick Boseman with some new story. Yeah, with some new story elements
and because it's the end of Phase 4. Like this is the last thing for Phase 4.
Right. So, I mean,
It
I
needs
think I'm going to
to
enjoy it. But
build
again,
up.
like you said, you have to go in with the proper
Yeah,
expectations.
this movie just has I think the one issue is I think from a storytelling, I think everybody's going to be fine acting and doing what they need to do. I don't have a lot of expectation for Riri Williams because I'm just a little bit like, why is she in this movie? And why isn't she just starring in her own Disney Plus series? To me, that makes more sense.
Yeah.
But this movie has a lot of parts to it, which I'm hoping it doesn't like it doesn't feel to me. I still think it's going to end up being better, but I'm hoping that it doesn't feel like Iron Man 2 a little bit, where since this is kind of the capstone of Phase 4, which hasn't had a lot of glue, kind of a lot of, which people have complained about.
Yeah, this is a much needed film for sure.
Yeah, so it's got
to do well,
It's got a lot of different things it's got to handle. I mean, it would have had, even if Chadwick Boseman was still in here playing T'Challa, would have a lot of stuff to deal with, anyway. But this has got to deal with saying goodbye to T'Challa because it's a character we've known for multiple movies, and who was who I'm guessing was probably going to be a central leader of the Avengers-esque figure,
right? And they've had to change a lot because of his tragic passing. That's the thing, and it's like that's the worry for a lot of people, including myself, with this film is like, how did they change the story to properly fit? And my biggest question in my head is like, okay, in this film, how does he pass away? Like, what happens?
Yeah.
And that's the biggest thing I'm worried about is them doing that justice and doing it properly.
Yeah. So they've got a lot of things. They've got to say goodbye to T'Challa / Chadwick Boseman in a hopeful. I mean, if they go a little over the top, Saccharin, it's a movie, guys. You might, whether you think it's completely great or not, it can be expected that because these were a lot of people who knew him, that it might, be a little over the top with the playing with the challenge to Chadwick Boseman, but I think that's all right. Because
take care, Insane. Enjoy the game, brother.
Yeah, but it's got to do that. It's got to tell whatever its main story is. It's got to deal with the character. I mean, it's going to have a lot of characters in it, and the first one did with Okoye, M'Baka, I forget what M'Baku. Yeah, I just made him sound like
M'Baka.
Yeah, I just made him sound like a Wookiee.
So it's funny you're bringing them up because like Matt said he won't be getting anything from this movie. The Chadwick solo Black Panther is my one and only. I see Namor being made, and I think there will be only 2 hot toys for this movie. Well, I disagree because I think M'Baku and Okoye are definitely in the conversation this time around. Guys, we got Valkyrie finally, so.
Yeah, and then that's the other thing. So they got the main, whatever the main plot stuff is, they've got to introduce Namor. They got to
Hey Blackbird,
the Aztec version of Atlantis. I don't even know how to pronounce the name of what it's actually supposed to be.
I don't know if it's Namor.
Numur.
Well, they changed it to Namor.
Okay, well, Namor. Yeah, I'm going to call him Namor.
That's what it is. We all know it as Namor.
Yeah.
So just call it Namor.
Yeah, I still like he has kind of the funny flight.
It's kind of how like the Slave One is fire spray, but nobody's calling it fire spray.
Well, no, they call it Boba Fett's spaceship.
Boba Fett's starship, but the model is fire spray.
Yeah.
Slave One, that's it.
Yeah.
To add one.
But
we just call him Aztec God. That's all we call him.
Yeah. Well, I with the whole look and everything, I think that looks really cool.
I think he looks cool. Yeah,
but they got to introduce this other complete civilization we've never seen before. Too.
It's like Avatar. That's what it looks like.
Well, okay, yeah. I wasn't completely missing some of that. I was wondering, like, is James Cameron probably kind of going like this? Like, why are there other weird looking blue fish people looking things?
Yeah,
since I'm gonna have 9 foot tall, blue people swimming under the water. That's a tricky thing to do. I think they could bring a T'Challa because this is the multiverse saga. If they actually follow through on all this over the next few years, maybe there's a T'Challa from another universe that somehow gets.
But the thing is, the problem is though, from what we've seen with the multiverse, they all look the same generally. Yeah, but like, it's the same genes. It's the same.
We'll see. It's not going to get too.
We won't get into much. But me personally, I don't want that. I think they should leave it as it is. Leave us with what we got from T'Challa with Chadwick Boseman.
Yeah, and then on top of all of that, they also are gonna, and they do introduce some threads into Phase 5 and 6, like I think with that lady helping to assemble the Thunderbolts and some other stuff.
Right.
Like now, this is what I mean. It could be Iron Man 2 a little bit. It may have too many things that it's a long movie too, but it may have too many things where it might jarring. I'm worried more it may jarringly jump to some things that by the time we get to the end of it, you go, wow, did we really need to, because it's a long movie. Did we need that 10 minutes of dealing with setting something else up, we're going to see in 2024, or something like that, which because it's quote a shared universe with this is the drawback. Even in some of the phase 1 movies, we had sometimes where we went like, when Thor was having his vision quest or whatever for the Infinity Stones, and where we thought that scene was kind of cool. We were also like, wow, that was like an 8-minute scene that had nothing, 8 or 9 minute scene had absolutely nothing to do with, Ultron, who's the actual main threat we're supposed to be.
Yeah, there's a lot of filler for sure. There's a lot of filler, but
there could be a little bit of that in this. I still think overall the whole movie is. I just hope it doesn't remind me at the end of the thing where I go, hey, there was like, an hour and 50 minutes of this movie that was awesome, but there was 30 or 40 minutes of stuff that had nothing to do with the main plot of this movie or even the two civilizations, Wakanda and.
I think they'll touch on it enough. Hopefully, what they showed us in the trailers wasn't all of it. Hopefully, there's more expanded upon, especially the new civilization that we're introduced to. But real quick, because we're going to be moving on from the Shuri Black Panther, I wanted to hear CMB and Sean's thoughts on the figure and on the design as a whole, really, because again, that's a big conversation from a lot of people. It seems most people are being positive about this figure, but I see some people saying like, "Oh, I'm not a huge fan of the design." I want to hear your guys' thoughts on this.
I don't like it.
You don't like it?
I said it last night. Like, I think it looks cheap. It looks like a third party made it. It reminds me of the new Invincible material that they're using for the Invincible character from So Toys. Plus, I see a lot of issues with this suit because if you look at it, Hot Toys is notorious for using cheap glue, and a lot of these pieces that are all over the suit are going to be glued on, like the necklace, the shoulder claw areas, all that. Like I can see it over time, the glue giving way and just pieces flaking off, popping off, disappearing on you.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we'll have to see how that holds up over time. Yeah. I haven't had any.
For me, that's just my opinion. Like, I don't.
No, and some people have had the same opinion as you. They're just not a huge fan of the design, and they think it didn't translate well to figure form. And I understand that.
Nope.
It's one of those things you either like it or you don't, because it's definitely the loudest, quote unquote, Black Panther suit that we've seen thus far. Killmonger was obviously one of the more louder suits with all that gold, but this is kind of like turning it up a notch with all these different pieces that are like raised and such all over the body. So yeah, it's definitely one of those suits you either like it or you don't.
I can see part of the knee joints and the elbow joints looks like there's no padding there to protect it, and I can see where the crease happens with it, and then you fold it. Then you straighten the arm. Yeah, I can see it getting stuck in there and possibly ripping the material.
Yeah, this is definitely
but I do like the design.
You like it? This is definitely one that I would definitely not put in any crazy poses. I mean, all of my Panther figures I have in museum pose just because I'm worried about the suit. So yeah, you got to be very careful with this suit. It seems like it's very similar to what we had previously from other Black Panther figures, and those aren't the most durable. That's for sure. But yeah, Carlo, a good point. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't know of any other examples apart from Loki and Sylvie where they don't look the same. But very good point. But still, yeah, I wouldn't want to see T'Challa recast. That's just my personal opinion. I know a lot of people have mixed opinions about that.
Carlito's right. All the different variants of Loki.
Yeah.
None of them look the same.
Blackbird
what
says,
they could do is they could make it like where M'Baku is Black Panther in that universe. That way you don't have to use Chadwick.
I'd be cool
bring in another character where it's like, oh, M'Baku became Black Panther. Like he won the fight. Remember how him and Chadwick fought in the beginning of the movie? You could do where he beat him and he went on to become Black Panther.
Yeah, and he's obviously going to have a big role in this film. Yeah, Killmonger.
You know what another thing could be though too is to where the original kings got replaced, where T'Challa went with his father to Detroit, and then Killmonger and Killmonger's father was king,
That'd be interesting for
and
sure.
he was the prince and everything, and he was the Black Panther, and then they go and they find T'Challa, and it was T'Challa who was orphaned.
He's the bad guy now.
That would be interesting for sure.
Yeah, that'd be crazy.
Mr. Mom, very
T'Challa
good point. I want to
Killmonger.
see the sculpt. I really do.
Mhm.
So the reason I bring this Black Panther figure up is this comment here from Blackbird Tech. It seems like a lot of people kind of have this thought. They're like, well, seeing as this movie is doing really well, and as this movie approaches opening weekend and all the hype starts getting generated, I wonder what's going to happen with this figure. Obviously, we're not quite sure yet how their new system is working over at Sideshow with how they determine numbers and when they decide to cut it off. But I'm going to keep a very close eye on this figure because I have not pre-ordered it yet, and I'm curious to see what happens.
Yeah, since we had
over
like
the
magic
next week.
So we had like some magic Sideshow magic Mando magic go on,
Right.
I ain't missing
magically
Black
popping up
Panther.
from the wait list and stuff.
Right. If there's any
Pennywise
sight
effect,
of anything.
Pennywise effect. I keep telling everybody. Pennywise
Yeah.
effect.
Yeah.
It's here. It's out of stock. It's waitlisted. Waitlist full. It's back in stock. It's out of stock. Waitlist open. Waitlist full.
Yes. So far, out of the recent last chance stuff that's disappeared, that isn't like they keep finding them in the warehouse. That Mando is the first one that's actually come back recently.
Hulkbuster.
But the Hulk. So I'm saying that they're not finding in the warehouse like stuff that's on
the
pre-order.
Hulkbuster could have been an order that was
sold
canceled.
out. Came
The
back for a
Hulkbuster could have
couple
been
more.
canceled though too. They could have had payments
Yeah.
going, and then they
Exactly, but I'm just
Right,
saying.
I'm
it
merely
did come
talking about
back. It
pre-order
wasn't-
stuff.
Yeah, okay, all right. I'm just saying because it wasn't before it went on the new last chance one. It did come back into actual stock.
Yeah, no, and it's happened in the past. I'm just saying with like this recent like whole last chance debacle, the stuff going off for pre-order. I think the only one that's actually come back, that's a pre-order item that went to waitlist very early, was the Mando. And I'm not surprised by that because that one is a bit older of a pre-order, and also it's Mando. Sideshow probably knows it's going to keep selling really well. And maybe in their heads, they're like, oh, this Beskar Mando season 1 is finally almost out of our warehouse. So we're going to need this season 2 to continue those sales. So I'm not super shocked by that one. That one was absolutely what we would call a fake out, which, of course, when this thing first started happening, we're like, oh, it's probably just a fake out.
Nope.
And then we've realized that things seem to be changing. So I'm definitely going to keep an eye out on this
Sideshow
figure
literally
for sure.
said that, although I don't know if we believe him or not.
Right, and we take that with a grain of salt because Sideshow has said some things, and recently, actually, with this Captain America figure, they said some things that weren't true. So we take it with a grain of salt. But I do think this is kind of the new normal for some of these figures, is them selling out and being put on wait list way earlier than before they can make it to the in stock phase. So I'm going to keep an eye on this one, and I know Chris said he is too, and I'm. Particularly in the next week, I want to see what happens because if there's any sign of low stock whatsoever, I'm going to immediately grab this one.
Yeah, I'm in like the same boat with like I'm doing the same thing. Like I have in my checkout like Commander Appo on the Bark and the Grand Inquisitor. On monitor, dude.
1-6. I saw that you subscribed before we started the stream. Thank you, by the way. But me and Chris were cracking up at your name. I absolutely love your name. 1-6 Star Wars Pimpazoid. It doesn't get much better than that. 1-6 Star Wars Pimpazoid.
But before we jump on to the next figures and stuff, I did have to say one thing of today that I want. I'll take my John Wick 2.0 and Donnie Yen Killer Assassin with Cycle.
Yeah, man. Yeah, so guys, if you haven't seen it, the John Wick 4 trailer dropped today, and it looks absolutely incredible. It looks like a fun film. Everybody is like, oh, I wish I would have. Yeah, dude, the firearms look amazing.
Ooh, the new Terran Tactical Sandviper was in it.
Fun film.
Yeah, I love John Wick. I'm really excited to see it.
What do you mean for heavy gunner? Do you mean the heavy infantry Mando?
Yomo said, I got my first hot toy a few days ago and I've been having a blast with it. I need to pre-order this Black Panther Wolverine. Congratulations, Yomo. Which figure did you end up picking up as your first hot toy? You may have mentioned it before. I just don't remember. But the collector, which heavy gunner are you talking about? While we're waiting for that answer, how many out of everybody here, both the chat and on the panel, are you guys picking up this Black Panther? I know Chris is, because Chris and I have been kind of drooling over this figure for a minute now.
Million times, yeah.
Yeah, me personally, I have the movie version, and the movie version will always be my most beloved suit. I love that movie suit. I love that kind of kinetic energy tech that the suit has. I just thought that was such a cool feature. And it is really cool that like Shuri developed it specifically for T'Challa. I just think it's really, really cool. But this suit is obviously the Civil War suit, amped up and turned up to the next level. It looks absolutely amazing. And we've previous streams when this first dropped, we did compare this to the original Civil War release of this suit, and it's a huge improvement. Just on the suit and the proportions alone, it's a huge improvement. But yeah, guys, who's grabbing this figure on the panel? Apart from Chris and I, of course.
Pass.
I'm getting it.
You're getting it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, this one? Okay. Yeah, this. I'm considering it.
I have other stuff. It would come down to probably getting this Black Panther or Toby Spider-Man, and I'm going to get the Toby Spider-Man.
Yeah, I know that's a tough choice for you. That's a tough choice for a lot of people. Me personally, I couldn't make that decision. I couldn't make that decision.
To Duck Collector, to your question, okay, with the bark, no, I did not get the heavy ordnance trooper. I wasn't interested in that one. I prefer to get the commander just with the bark by itself for space concerns. And it's a commander, like a named clone trooper.
Chuck says he already pre-ordered. That's what I like to hear, Chuck. I haven't grabbed mine yet, but again, I'm waiting because I'm going to try my best to get a deal on these figures. But again, some of them, they're just forcing us to grab them on pre-order if we buy from Sideshow, and that's where you like to buy from because the stuff is going to wait list. Again, a lot of this will probably come back closer to release, but me personally, I'd rather just drop the pre-order and get it out of the way once it hits last chance. Let's see. Yeah, dude, the John Wick 4 trailer looks amazing. I'm really, really excited. I love Donnie Yen. I haven't seen a single film, whether it's Ip Man, his appearance in Star Wars as Chirrut Imwe. Never disappoints. He's such a great actor.
His old 90s movies with Jet Li, stuff like that.
He's incredible. He always has been. And it's going to be awesome to see him in John Wick. And you already know he's going to bring it as he always does.
Now the thing is, I don't think he's going to be the main bad guy in it. I think,
nope. You can tell from the trailer he's not.
Yeah, I didn't get that vibe from it either. Yeah, but even as a support bad guy, he's going to be awesome. Okay, so Yomo said his first hot toy was Endgame Captain America with 30% off in rewards. He paid $28. Dude, congratulations.
Wow.
So that same deal, I took advantage of that, and I got the Bat Cycle, the Bat Pod for $45. So that was an amazing promo. Lane said boo, because I know Lane and I both just got our Bat Pods. By the way, guys, if you're interested in the Bat Pod, I'm not going to be reviewing it or anything, but I could definitely highly recommend it. It's absolutely beautiful in person. I love it.
I want to know, because he had rewards. Does he collect statues or other sideshow stuff?
Or Yoma, have you just been like kind of saving up your rewards for a while, or were you part of other hobbies that you purchased from Sideshow? I'm very curious. I know some people, they just save up their points for their first purchase, and that kind of gets them started in the hobby, which is perfectly fine. That's the way to do it, save money where you can. Mr. Pimpazoid says, I stay in my lane, which is Star Wars, so no Black Panther. Dude, I hear you. I was Star Wars only for a long time, up until like 8 months ago when I decided to dive into the world of Marvel and horror and 80s. I was all Star Wars for a long time. Yeah, things do change.
Yeah, I was Star Wars and DC, and then
step into Marvel. It's a slippery slope, man. There's 67 figures.
I forgot what Marvel figure it was, but it got me, and as soon as I got it, went down the hole.
There's currently 67 figures for Marvel on pre-order right now.
You know what's funny? I was everything. I was collecting Predator, Star Wars, G.I. Joe. Yeah, I was collecting everything, and then things changed, and now I'm just OT Star Wars, Clone Wars, Mando Star Wars, just Batman from DC, and just Iron Man from Marvel. Because eventually, I have a lot more room than probably most collectors do to display stuff, but I will eventually run out of room too.
Yeah, you guys see what I'm doing now and Chris is doing now. We're both kind of upgrading our collection rooms because we need
DTOFs don't count as an upgrade.
Well, for Chris, it's an upgrade. Hey, look what you've
Detox or
done.
not.
Look what you've done. Look what you've done. Yeah, okay. That you guys are bullies, man.
Making me dip out of here now.
I didn't say
I
nothing.
think
I just laughed. I
Yomo.
thought it was a funny comment. Sean was making a funny comment.
Sean was being serious and funny at the same time.
Matt
Exactly.
Marvel.
That's what made it so funny.
Hottoy.
He was serious.
So regardless of what
joking at the same
Sean
time.
says, Chris is upgrading his collection room by adding more details so he can expand the space that he has.
Thank you.
I am changing my displays. So guys, if you care at all, Chris and I this past weekend went through over 200 Hot Toys boxes in my house, took them all out of the closet in my collection room and put all of the accessories in their own individual little baggies. And I now have 2 clear plastic bins with all of my accessories. So way more manageable. All of the boxes are now in the attic. And that is phase 1 of my collection room redo. The next phase is going to be to build the actual display cases, and the detops are going to Chris. So
yeah, see, I did the opposite, Sean. I went because my brother had those custom cases, which Connor's gonna do. I didn't like that look. It's more space, but I like the glass cabinetry detox. It's clean. So
And
that's
go
what I'm
with
doing.
Billy bookcases. Then you'll have more room.
Sean
No.
might as well get paid like a percentage from IKEA over those Billy bookcases because he promotes them to the end of time.
Yeah, but look at what I've done with them.
Yeah, well, I'm building my own garage shelf displays, and you'll see what I do with them, Sean. Let's see. Yomo says, I haven't bought anything from Sideshow. The rewards I've earned over time, just a few months with their events and streams, I still have a little over $60 saved up.
Nice.
There you go, dude. I mean, that's the way to do
awesome.
it. Pay attention to those events. I mean, they're just throwing free money at you. I mean, even for just signing up now, you get $10 per event. So, I mean, definitely take advantage of that free money, you know? But yeah, guys, I just wanted to briefly show this off again because I did want to bring that up. I feel like we should definitely pay attention to this Black Panther figure over the next week or two because, again, the film is starting to be seen by more people, which is going to generate more hype as more reviews come out. So I'm curious to see if anything happens to this figure. Again, we're not 100% positive as to how they are handling stock now for these new pre-orders. They may have a set number, or they may say after a certain period of time, we're going to cut it off. We obviously don't know that yet. If you're curious, this one is priced pretty fairly, I would say, at $285. He does come with a Chadwick Boseman head sculpt, as well as the helmeted sculpt, and you do get that ceremonial mask and the shield. So I think it's pretty fair for $285. Again, like Lane said, a recent price point we have to go off of is this stealth suit Captain America, and for $320, I think that is setting the bar in the wrong direction. I think that was way too high, and I think $285 for this guy is way more fair, in my personal opinion. Next, I saw quite a few people in the chat mentioning that they wanted to see this, so of course we are going to talk about it because it's kind of a hot topic right now. Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit for y'all. So So Toys decided to kind of go ham this past week, and they dropped this photo, and it's been fun trying to kind of decipher what the silhouette is for a lot of these, and some of them people were able to guess. Cigars, remind me again which Wolverine this is.
That's Old Man Logan from the
Old
comic.
Man Logan, and it's like a Western
That's
look.
what I've been hearing. Everybody
It's like a post-apocalyptic type of look.
Okay, so he has like a cowboy
He's
hat,
got
and
like
a
a cowboy
duster.
hat and a duster.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not familiar with that particular look for him, so I'm interested to see how that looks. That's pretty cool. It's funny with this one, a lot of people were saying that they thought this was Zemo. That was like the number one guess for this was Zemo. Obviously, it ended up not being Zemo.
Soso's killing the game lately, man.
Right. Me personally, nothing has popped up yet that I personally want. Now, on this bottom row, though,
I can tell you that's Dr. Manhattan.
Dr.
Geralt.
Manhattan, The Witcher, Geralt. Yep.
That's Soldier Boy and Mr. Knight.
Mr. Knight. So, yeah, the two here that I'm interested in, this is definitely, by the way, if you look at the armor, this is absolutely the show Geralt, thankfully, because I don't want the video game one. I want the Henry Cavill. Rest in peace to that role for Henry Cavill. This is the Henry Cavill Witcher Geralt figure. And then this definitely has to be Mr. Knight. This has to be Mr. Knight. So I'm interested in those two because at this point I've kind of lost faith for any more Moon Knight figures. I feel like they just kind of did that one Moon Knight figure and said, "Cool, that's all we need to do. Move
I
on."
never say never, because Hot Toys did show that cost baby, Mr. Knight. And I know
Yeah,
with
I
cost
mean,
babies, it's a 50-50. It's not a guarantee.
I'm not
that
gonna
the
say
Hot Toys
never.
figure's
It's just
coming.
I'm not gonna say never because obviously they have gone back and released figures. I mean, Valkyrie, for example, that was pretty delayed, and
Well,
I think we'll still get Hawkeye as well from the show.
Well, she was also in another movie though too.
Yeah,
the
but
thing is, though, too, look at the Assault Tank Commander from Rogue One, from when Rogue One came out to when they announced that.
that's different though because they basically reused the mold and changed a couple parts. I think that's what prompted that release. But no, I'm not going to say never. I absolutely do think that it's still possible. It's just a matter of when. Like there's a lot on their plate right now, and it's like they haven't done anything from Andor, or at least they haven't put anything up for pre-order from Andor yet. We're still waiting on Hawkeye from the Hawkeye show. There's still probably some more Kenobi stuff because we're waiting on those other Inquisitors at the very least, and they did show a full frontal view on those. So I have a feeling we probably still will get those Inquisitors. So I guess more so it's a matter of like when is the right time to put out their Mr. Knight figure. And not to mention, we're still waiting on that next phase of the Batman stuff from the Batman film. We're still waiting on Attack of the Clones phase 2. So I guess that's a better way to put it, is like, where does Mr. Knight fit in to their current future release schedule that they're going to end up working down the list for, you know? So this is just
So knocks it out of the park. I'll definitely get that.
right. So and they work so fast, man. They really do. And so I think out of all the third parties, and now I will say I've never owned anything from them, but based on word from people that I trust and seeing photos, it seems like they're kind of the top of the line when it comes to third party figures. But the Geralt, I don't see anyone doing an official Geralt. So that's the one that is like most likely going to be the one I pick up, because especially now that he's been recast by Liam Hemsworth. Interesting choice. I mean, everybody cried about Robert Pattinson as Batman, but I think this is what you really should be concerned about. Liam Hemsworth, not even Chris Hemsworth. Liam Hemsworth.
Could have picked Mads Mikkelsen, man. Mads Mikkelsen looks like Geralt when he's older. You know, like if you put long hair on him, he looks just like Geralt in his older age, when he's like in his mid to high 40s, going in his 50s type of deal.
Right.
There's only certain ones I want, though. I want like the Old Man Logan, Geralt, Soldier Boy if it looks good, because you know that other third party announced the Billy Butcher that looks better than anybody else who's released Billy, and then Mr. Knight, and if that is, because up at the top is, we're speculating that that's Tanjiro from Demon Slayer, and if that's the case, then I'm gonna get that as well.
Yeah, I don't even know who that is because I've never seen that.
It's an anime.
Yeah.
It's a manga that got converted to an anime.
Gotcha, yeah. Definitely really cool, and it's cool to see a company, like a third-party company, giving us like kind of a roadmap here.
Manhattan, Yomo. That's Dr. Manhattan.
From Watchmen.
Yeah, from Watchmen.
And they've done Rorschach and...
I believe.
Yeah, I think that's all they've done.
And Rorschach.
And I think Hot Toys did...
No, they did Comedian. They did also did Comedian. He's the newest release was Comedian.
Okay. Hot Toys did... that's Jeffrey Dean Morgan, right? To play the Comedian.
Yeah. Yep.
Hot Toys did the Comedian, I think. Is that all they did from the... I don't know if they did any other figures from Watchmen.
That's it.
Yeah, all they did was...
Interesting. They cut the line off at one. That's typical Hot Toys, you know?
Back then, it was probably they didn't sell enough, so they were probably like, what's the point?
Very true. That was a great film, though, and I know there was a show as well. I never watched the show, but...
Show was... Dude, it was garbage.
Really?
Even the guy who created the Watchmen... He created the Watchmen, he won't even acknowledge its existence. He says that that's not the Watchmen. He will not. He doesn't own it. Nothing. He disavows that show.
That's funny. He said, "Yeah, it kind of does have a bit of a Black Adam silhouette, but yeah, Black Adam's being taken care of already. I think."
It's Dr. Manhattan. They showed a preview of Dr. Manhattan before they did this announcement with all the silhouettes. So I mean,
and it would make sense since they've done Watchmen figures already.
Like
you know,
that silhouette was right there.
Yeah,
was that same pose.
Here's some. We actually, for the three that are actually filled in on that page, we do have some photos of them, so we'll quickly go through them. I think the head sculpt looks pretty good.
That smiling one, she looks like she's 50 and on the prowl.
Yeah, I would definitely use this relaxed face. That's definitely a smart choice on their end to put that as the main advertisement.
That's Granny Rogue.
Yeah, it does look like, oh, this bloody sculpt is really cool with the broken
Affleck
lens.
cosplaying as Mark from Invincible. Like that looks just like Ben Affleck, a young Ben Affleck.
Yeah, this is pretty cool. I like the blood. Not something I would personally pick up, but definitely really neat. But yeah, that's about it for the so-so stuff. Again, they'll be slowly revealing that stuff, I'm sure. And if it's normally how they work, I'm sure we'll see it sooner than later. Again, I'm really excited to see that Geralt personally. It's just a matter of when they put it up, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Quick look at the last chance page, guys. We're not going to spend too much time on this. Nothing new on the last chance page, thankfully, today. Nothing has changed. Still have the same contenders on there: Green Goblin Deluxe, the collector edition of Thor from Love and Thunder, Buzz Lightyear Deluxe, and the Neo from the Toy Fair this year. So nothing new on there. Of course, Spider-Gwen and Miles Morales and Mark L, they're all still on there. So you have time to pick them up. Just keep an eye out because obviously stuff comes and goes very quickly. Next, guys, as we get close to the end of the stream here, we're just going to close out by looking at some figures that are either rumored to be releasing soon or figures that should be releasing soon based on their projected date on both the Hot Toys website and on Sideshow. So one that is rumored to be releasing indefinitely very soon is Bo-Katan. Now, obviously, this one on Sideshow is listed as November to December 2022. And this one, obviously, we've received a lot of delay emails for based on the Sideshow timeframe. But a lot of the gentlemen from Facebook that are in Hong Kong, a lot of them are saying that this is the #1 rumor right now, that Bo-Katan is coming out sooner than later. Obviously, take that with a grain of salt because that's not 100% factual. That's just a rumor, but I could definitely see it happening. This one is about due for a release, and it's not super complicated either. If you look at her, the costume design is not very complicated, so it'd make a lot of sense, in my opinion.
You think they updated the sculpt?
Probably. I would hope so.
I mean, the thing is, I don't think the sculpt's bad though. Like, what needs updating on it? Maybe an adjustment to the chin a little bit.
Yeah,
but
little less Cena chin.
I see. The thing is, I think she just has that, like, that's just what she looks like. You know, she kind of has that lower jaw area is kind of similar to John Cena's.
She does got like a manly chin, like.
I think it looks good. I honestly do. Like, if the sculpt came out exactly like this, I wouldn't be upset personally.
As long as it doesn't come out like that Queen Studios quarter scale statue in comparison to the outfit for female facial sculpts, we'll be fine.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep the helmet on, so it doesn't even matter to me.
I'm definitely going to use the sculpt, but I use the sculpt. You know how I am. I love the helmet and hand sculpt look. So I'm probably going to do the sculpt for her. But this is a beautiful figure, man. And this is one that's definitely highly anticipated by a lot of people, including myself. So I'm really excited for this one. And this is one that I actually do have paid off. So when the time comes, hopefully I get that first batch email. That'd be awesome.
I'm probably going to be waiting a little bit since I have this one ordered through my LCS. This was the first figure I actually ordered through my LCS.
Yeah. And this one, I believe, this next one, this one actually got pushed up to a sooner release date. So this is one. I would not be surprised, and Hot Toys has done this in the past many times, if they did like a group release. You know, they're like, here's Axe Woves and here's Bo-Katan. You know, the paint is very similar. So I wouldn't be surprised if they rigged up the assembly line and kind of knocked them both out at the same time. So that would not totally.
No head sculpt. So
yeah, and exactly, it has no, which is a sin, an absolute sin, considering Casca Reeves has a head sculpt as well. This is one I'm absolutely going to find a third-party head sculpt for. I have to, because this one not having a head sculpt throws off my look.
You know what's weird though? Hot Toys took a picture of him with
holding the figure. Right. And so what is that guy looking at? He's like, oh man, this is awesome. This is me in armor. You know what I mean? How exciting is that for him? He doesn't even get to see himself with a head sculpt.
But he was in Hong Kong at Hot Toys. You know, what was he there for?
Right.
More than likely they were doing a head sculpt and they were just trying to make easy money with this.
I know. It's unfortunate.
And I bet we're going to see him in season 3 and his armor is going to be different.
Right.
The head
So then
sculpt.
they're going to shell out another figure with the head sculpt, and it's going to make me have to hunt down that
Fine,
head sculpt.
because I mean, look at season 3. We see all those Mandos. He could literally just put in the display, and then he just blend in as a different Mando, and then you could use the one with the head sculpt.
That's true.
You know, or you just get somebody to make, take a Kramer head sculpt and put it on there, because he definitely looks like Space Kramer.
Right.
See, there's in the trailer, there's a guy who's in charge of either a 4 or 6 man team of Mandos that drop from underneath the ship, and then they fly down, and they start clearing the streets and everything.
Right.
How much you want to bet that's him? The leader of that group is Axe Wolves.
I wouldn't be surprised. It would make sense if she would
now
delegate.
his armor's changed.
Right. It would make sense that those are like her 2 most trusted allies and friends. So it would make sense that she would delegate a duty like that to each of them. So it makes sense. Yeah. So like Carlito was saying, they did update the double boxing options and such for the Bo-Katan, but also he says for Doc Brown and Johnny Silverhand. Yeah. Funny enough, Doc Brown was actually pushed up.
Yep.
So originally he was slated for early next year, and now he is as early as December. So it'd be nice if he came in time for Christmas. My Marty should be arriving within the next couple of days from Sideshow. So that means I will have to pre-order Doc Brown and probably Johnny Silverhand sooner than later. Johnny Silverhand, I'm probably going to hold out to see if I can get an add to cart deal, because I feel like that one probably is going to sit for a bit. But I decided I need to add it to my Keanu shrine. So
Cyberpunk bombed.
Yeah, I mean, now it's starting to get a little bit more respect after that most recent update, but it's like one of those things. It's kind of like No Man's Sky. It's like a little too late.
Too little, too late, man.
Yeah,
Most people have moved on.
Exactly. Another one, guys, that I'm still on the fence about.
That John Wick 4 figure, because it's coming.
Right. Yeah, I think so.
Donnie Yen, because all they got to do is take the Chirrut.
Retool that Chirrut head sculpt. Yeah.
Yep, and boom. How cool would that be, man? Keanu and Donnie Yen for figures.
I'd buy it up.
Hell
I'd buy it up so quick. So, guys, Armorized Deadpool. Me too, man. I'd grab those so fast. And I have the current John Wick, but who's going to say no to another John Wick?
Exactly.
So, guys, Armorized Deadpool. This one is very close to releasing. Obviously, we have a November to December 2022 release date on here. This is another one that some people are saying they think this one's going to be coming out very soon. Don't know if that's based on any factual information. I've just seen quite a few people talking about it, so I wanted to bring this up. I'm very on the fence about this one. I've got a waitlist conversion email for this one, and I'm still sitting on it and deciding, because the thing is, I do want it, but at that $405 price tag, I'm like, I feel like I should wait until it actually goes in stock and then grab it then with a coupon.
That's what I'm doing.
And the thing is, I really want that exclusive accessory, because this is one of those figures where the exclusive accessory is actually really cool. Like, he has this little arm that splits off and it has like the blaster and everything on it. I'm just hoping that there's enough exclusive stock to where I can grab it with a coupon, because $405 is kind of a tough pill to swallow for a Deadpool figure, if I'm being honest with you. Yes, it is die cast, so that's definitely a really cool factor, but it remains to be seen what's going to happen with this one come closer to release date. I am hoping that this one does hit in stock, though, so I could use a coupon and chop down a little bit on that $405 price tag, because I looked at it in my cart after my waitlist converted for the exclusive, and I'm like, I just can't pull the trigger right now. $405 is just so much for a Deadpool figure, because I'm used to paying $250 for Deadpool figures, Another one, guys, that has a lot of people worried, because they're like, why have we not heard anything about him? There's our boy Hunter from the Bad Batch, the leader of the Bad Batch, in fact, Clone Force 99.
Now you're talking Lane's language.
Yes, I know Lane's really excited, as am I. And anybody else, I don't have the Echo figure yet. I'm still waiting to get a better deal on him. But this is one I will absolutely be picking up. I'm going to be getting the entirety of the Clone Force 99, a.k.a. the Bad Batch. This one we have not heard much about recently. And actually, the last time we saw him on display, he was not posed with the head sculpt. So that tells me that they're probably still working out the kinks with that head sculpt. However, I do think this one, it's still possible to drop before the end of the year. It depends. It depends on where they are with that head sculpt. It is a relatively simple figure in terms of what it comes with. And I got to say, it's a very good price for $250 compared to what we're used to paying. You
Yeah,
see,
but-
he comes with a decent amount for $250, but
You can save the world.
There's so much that's due right now too.
Yep.
there is a
And
lot that's
my
doing. You can see
concern
we're going
is
through all
most of
it,
the
yeah.
releases are not going to have a head sculpt.
Yeah, it's just with this one, I feel like it's in their best interest to try to push it out by the end of the year because Echo is in stock, and this is a companion figure for Echo, and obviously, we're approaching Christmas time, so if they could push this guy out before the end of the month, it would obviously make a lot of sense for Sideshow. So we'll see, and it is tough. It's definitely a tough call to make because, like you said, there is a lot, and we still have a few more here that we're going to go through that have not been released yet. But yeah, it's a tough call to make. But me personally, I see this being one of them that they push out before the end of the year. Obviously, there's no way they're all going to make it. Unfortunately, it's just not going to happen. Just due to the fact that they just don't have the resources, and with all the shutdowns and stuff, a lot of them are just not going to make it. One that I unfortunately think is absolutely not going to make it by the end of this year is our poor boy Cyborg. This is one that I'm definitely picking up because this would be completing my Justice League display. However, I don't see this one making it by the end of this calendar year just because he is a very complicated design. I mean, if we get a close up here, you could see all the different angles and little bits of detail here and there throughout the body. It's very complicated. It's a very complicated design. So I don't see this one being one of the ones that they're like, okay, let's get this out before the end of the year, because they have so many other things that are simple. And like Sean said, there are a lot that don't have head sculpts. So they're going to prioritize stuff that makes the most sense to them. And I just don't think this is going to be one of them. So unfortunately, I think this is going to be pushed to next year. Frankenstein releases like Iron Strange. Yeah. So yeah, Deadpool, the armorized Deadpool is definitely a Frankenstein release. The Iron Strange is really cool. I'm definitely getting all of the other Doctor Stranges, but I don't think I'll end up picking up the Iron Strange unless I find them for like a really, really good deal, just because it's not worth the money to me. Yoma says there aren't many people talking about that Deadpool figure. I feel like a lot of people might get it after they see it. Yeah, I mean, that might be one that a lot of people are kind of waiting to see the final product before they make their decision. That would be the smart thing. I think it looks really, really cool. I know Cigars is really excited about it. I think it's awesome. I love the stuff he comes with. He's got like that shotgun. He's got of course, the katanas. If you get the exclusive, he has that little blaster arm. So I think it's a really cool figure. It's definitely a niche figure, though, for sure. Another one, guys, that I do see making it before the end of the year is Quill and Quill with the Blurg. Obviously, we already have the Quill with the OG Mando shipping and arriving to people in the US. So I do see this one being pushed out before the end of the year. One, it's a small figure, and two, he's not very complicated. And again, they've already released the Mando with the Blurg, so I could absolutely see this one being pushed out before the end of the year. I do have this one paid off, so I'm very excited for this one. Quill is definitely a very special character in my heart. He was definitely one of the characters that carried season 1 for me. I think he had such a big presence, even though he didn't really say much. I just think he had such a big presence, and I'm really, really excited to see this figure in person. I'm sure most people that got really into the Mando stuff, like I did, like Sean did, like Lane did, everybody who bought into the Mando stuff, I'm sure this is one of them that a lot of people picked up just because, I mean, it's Quill, he is like the essence. He's the essence of that first season. And we wouldn't have IG-11 without Quill, because Quill was the one that reprogrammed IG. So we have a lot to thank from our boy Quill. So I'm really, really excited for this release. And again, I do see this one being pushed out by the end of this year. Another one actually which was brought up earlier, and this might be a crowd favorite. Another one. This might be a crowd favorite here. Throbbing. We have our Throbbing Robin figure here. Another one that I think is very fairly priced, considering it's a new mold and it has a new head sculpt and everything. I'm really excited for this one. I know these movies are, at this point, they're just kind of like a cult classic, and they weren't very appreciated at the time for good reason, because the scripts were horrible. But it's kind of like they're so corny they were good.
It just really doesn't come with very much. That's like kind of the big thing with that.
But for $245, I think it's priced appropriately.
Yeah.
What do you mean? He's packing a ton.
Right.
Yeah,
And
Yeah,
Lane,
half of their development was in his package alone.
Lane, I don't know if you're seeing what I'm seeing here, but I think he comes with plenty. Just saying. Lane's just like, I could see him behind the camera like this. But yeah, so Robin, this one's a toss up for me, and I kind of want to hear anybody really from the panel chime in here. Who thinks not only this guy, but the Sonar Suit Batman, who thinks they're going to make it by the end of this year?
Nope.
Yeah.
No.
I'm kind of leaning towards that as well.
There's no priority for DC right now with Hot Toys.
And it's these are new molds too, so it's like why would they try to push those out before the end of the year, And they know they kind of have a lot of leeway with DC right now, especially because they're in that transitional period, so they're probably like, we'll get to the DC stuff eventually.
We're much more likely, I think, to see like Chrome Mando or something like that than these.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, if anything from DC that we might have a chance with is the Batman Begins.
Yeah.
And that's it. I don't even see King Shark.
Yeah, King Shark is another one that, and King Shark is obviously a bit unique with the mold and everything, but I don't know if I could see the King Shark coming out before the end of this year either. I really don't. Guys, this is the companion piece. He is a power pose, but he is a unique mold though. So, and it's DC. That's a good point that Sean brings up with DC. It's like that's not their priority right now, and unfortunately hasn't been for a while. Obviously, with Black Adam and all these future DC films that we'll be releasing, I think that might change that. But for now, it's still not their priority. So I think the Sonar Suit Batman will be in the same case where we don't see him before the end of the year. Let's see. Don't forget about Captain Vaughn and Jesse. Yes, I had the tabs pulled up for them earlier, and then I opened up a new tab to reopen everything because I opened it under my wrong email, and I did not re-pull those up. So we'll actually pull that up now. See if we can find it quickly. Let's see. There we go. So yes, Arc Clone Trooper Jesse here. Obviously, this is one that a lot of us are excited about. This is another one I actually have paid off already. So I'm hoping he comes out soon because they're just going to send it right to me. Hopefully I'll get that first batch. But yeah, so Jesse should be right around the corner as well. I believe he is also marked with the November 2022 to December 2022 release date. And also, our boy Vaughn. Whoops. So again, this is another one. A lot of people are hesitant because it doesn't come with a head sculpt, but it's like this is based on the final season, and you don't ever see him with his helmet off. So I'm not too upset about that. I think for $250 and it's a name clone.
And it's a Cody, basically armor set.
Right.
So,
exactly. He's got a 332nd Cody helmet basically, and I think he looks amazing. And it's a name clone, so I had to pre-order this one. This was definitely an easy pre-order for me. He even has that little antenna on his shoulder like Cody. Definitely really, really cool looking. So yeah, this one's also right around the corner as well, November 2022 to December 2022. And looking at this one, going off of Sean's point, and this one is very simple. And this is kind of just like a repaint of reused parts that they've already issued with the 501st and Commander Cody. I do see this one making it before the end of the year just because it's very simple. Let's see. Yomo says, it definitely got my eye on the Val Kilmer Batman. I don't know about this Robin, though. I like the suit he had in the movie after with the black and red.
And Batman and Robin.
Right. I mean, for me, I like the first suit just because it's kind of reminiscent of that comic book look with those colors. I think it looks really cool. So I'm very pleased to grab it. And obviously, it was the same actor as well. So that'll do it for me for Robin from that group of films. But I'm excited to grab it. I actually just rewatched all of the original Batman films up to before the Nolan trilogy because I kind of seen those more recently without doing a rewatch. So I rewatched all of those and it's fresh in my mind. So it makes me even more excited for those two figures. We mentioned King Shark and I think there was a couple others, but for the most part, that's most of the bulk of the stuff that is right around the corner that hasn't been released yet. Could be released before the end of the year. We don't quite know. Let's see. Matt says, down the line a little, I think Hot Toys will prioritize the Battinson so it releases before InArt. It would make a lot of sense for them to do that. We don't know yet. We just kind of have to wait and see. Of course, we still have that Batmobile, the Pattinson Batmobile on the table because Hot Toys does plan on releasing that. And I think they will because they know plenty of other companies are interested in releasing it. So I think they'll be doing it as well. But that obviously remains to be seen. Yes, we also have President Loki. We have
I am
Sylvie.
dying for Loki.
President Loki.
No,
We're still
I'm not
waiting
getting
for
Loki,
we're still
bro.
waiting for Endgame.
Endgame
Endgame.
Loki.
Like, my
That's right.
goodness.
President Loki's actually a bit further out. I'm not getting President Loki, but I am curious on the release date. I think he's mid next year. Let's see. Yeah, it's January to March, so probably closer to March. See, Endgame Loki. Here's the thing about Endgame Loki, right? We don't usually bring him up because nothing's going to happen. I don't know why I'm typing Endgame Loki. We usually don't bring him up because we don't know if anything's ever going to happen with him anytime soon, just because he's just kind of out in the open there. But yes, this one does say November to December 2022. However, I don't know if anyone
Not holding
in
our
this
breath.
chat. I'm not going to hold my breath. We haven't heard a single lick about him. They sent out that email many months ago saying, "Oh, he's going to be arriving soon in our warehouse," and obviously that was a big prank because
that was almost 6 months ago.
Right,
Yeah.
that was a long time ago, and we've heard nothing since. So I'm not going to hold my
He
breath
drowned
for
at
this
sea.
one.
They had to redo it.
Yeah, something happened with this one. I don't know what happened, but I'm not going to hold my breath. This is Cable V2 right here. So
If you really think about it, Loki's been delayed now for a year because he was first supposed to be expected to release October, December 21.
Wasn't Pennywise a long time too?
Pennywise
Yeah.
took 2 years.
Pennywise
yeah.
was
Almost
like
2.5
damn near
or
3 years.
Yeah, at least 2 years for sure. It took forever, but yeah, Yomo, Sam. That's another one. The Sam Wilson Captain America is right around the corner as well. But another one I don't think is going to happen before the end of the year because he's quite complicated of a figure.
Wings.
The head sculpt doesn't impress you anymore. I feel that. I think it looks pretty good personally. But the thing is here's the Loki that is the most impressive to me. Let's see. This one right here.
Hey guys, I'll be back.
No problem. This one right here, I think this is one of the best head sculpts ever from Hot Toys, and I could easily say that. But just based on the prototype, of course, we have to see the final product. But I think this is one of the best head sculpts ever from Hot Toys. Like this head sculpt is so spot on. It's scary. It's down to the sculpted hair. The proportions on the body are amazing. Like look at Tom Hiddleston's body type with the shirt and tie on. It's spot on. Like it's scary good, you know.
And maybe it'll be updated with all these delays and whatnot.
Right. So it looks absolutely amazing. Yeah, me too. You got to have everything on them, in my opinion.
Yeah,
but
I like the jacket.
I was really hoping we would get Agent Mobius, but unfortunately that didn't happen. But I did grab the classic Loki, but
we may get him later because
in another show.
They just announced that Mobius is going to be in Deadpool 3.
Right. So that'd be awesome. I thought he was awesome, and obviously,
wow.
Obviously, he's kind of a fan favorite, so I could see them doing it. But yeah, this figure is absolutely incredible. So I'm really excited to see. Yes, another one, Mando Luke. That's the thing, guys. There are so many. I tried to cover the bulk of them, so sorry if I missed a couple that you guys are excited about. Most of the ones that are being mentioned, I am picking up. So no disrespect to those. Mando Luke, yeah, should be certainly right around the corner.
Are going to get pushed back just because many lockdowns.
I'm just excited for Carnage. He's like January.
Yeah, Carnage.
Non-stop lockdowns, districts, regions, entire cities. Shipping ports, all of that. So a lot of these that were probably slated to be out, they're all pushed back just because of what's going on over there.
Right.
Stuff that's going on over there that, we don't know about as collectors.
Right. Mr. Mom, maybe they'll decide to push that one up for the end of the year. It's not a super complicated figure. We haven't heard a peep about it, but after I got my Justice League Wonder Woman, I'm like kind of content with that. I'm going to try to grab that new 1984 Wonder Woman for just the head sculpt to swap with my Justice League one.
That's why I waited.
Yeah, but I really love that Justice League Deluxe that I ended up picking up locally. So for now, I'm going to stick with that one and just try to swap the head sculpt because I love that new head sculpt. The sculpted hair just appeals to me so much more. I've said this many times. I'm not a huge fan of rooted hair. And I was messing with my Gamora from Volume 2 the other day, and it just reminded me how much I hate rooted hair. It's just such a pain in the butt. So
rooted hair on that figure I thought wasn't bad, though.
No, it's not bad. It's just maintaining it. It's annoying. Looks like the double boxing option is available in Vaughn, but not Jesse. Yep. Exactly. It's that head sculpt, that'll do it. But Vaughn's really exciting. I'm excited to get that. Once again, it's a name clone for a pretty fair price. I know it doesn't have a head sculpt, but that doesn't bother me in the least bit, because you don't see him without the helmet on. So, but But we're going to wrap it up here, guys. Of course, if you haven't already, drop a like on this video. We really do appreciate that. We appreciate your support as always. We had some amazing participation this stream. So thank you, everybody, for being here, sharing your thoughts. I know this week was kind of light, so we didn't have too much crazy information for you all, but I hope you all were entertained. I hope you had a good time.
Who else we're missing right around this time? The White Vision figure. So that's from December right now.
Yeah, that's probably Hot Toys thoughts on that figure. What Cigars just said. Yeah. But yeah, it's right around the corner. I'm sure it's just probably not their priority, you know. But yeah, guys, of course, like I said, if you haven't already, drop a like on the stream, subscribe if you haven't already. For those of you who are curious, I have filmed the review on this guy right here, the Stealth Suit Captain America, and I'll bring him up real quick here for you, for all of you that are hanging out with us. So I do have a review film for the Stealth Suit Captain America. If you guys don't know, this is the one that just recently dropped for that fiasco on Sideshow. Unfortunately, a lot of people weren't able to get it. But
in, jerk.
I think I'm being pretty humble, Cigars.
I'm playing with you.
But no, I know you are.
You're being very humble about it.
Yeah, I'm trying not to, and I think you guys will agree in my video that I was very fair, because I'm not one of those people that likes to get these limited figures and then let the whole world know that I got it and that boo-hoo, sorry you didn't get it, you know, because I understand your pain, because it happens to me too. Perfect example, I went for these Revenge of the Sith Star Wars prints the other day, and I wanted them really bad, and they sold out instantly, and I was so angry, you know. So I know that feeling, so I would never try to rub that in, because it's like, it's so frustrating when you go for something you really want and you don't get a fair shake at it. But so the review I did film for that. I have to film the intro and outro and then do my editing. Again, I will probably have it up by mid next week at the latest. I did do a short comparison between this Captain America, the first release Endgame Captain America, and the 2012 cap. So I think that'll be an interesting thing for you guys to see, especially for those of you who ended up picking up the other Captain America figures because you weren't able to get this one. I think that'll be really interesting for you. And also, I think it'll kind of give you some peace of mind, because this one doesn't blow those out of the water, you know. I think it's just a different look, but if you're not 100% sold on the look, don't feel like you've missed out on anything. But I do think it's a really fun review, and I hope you guys enjoy it. Thank you, Mr. Mom. Mr. Mom says, great stream as always. It's great to have you here as always, and we'll have you definitely on soon for sure. Once again, guys, excuse the mess for both Chris and I. We are going through a kind of a transitional period with our collection rooms. I'm changing a lot of stuff. The detops will be gone here soon enough. Probably within the next couple of weeks, we'll get this stuff, get the show on the road, you know. So I'll be giving these detops to Chris, and I will be putting some custom displays. And then what that means for you guys is once I get the collection room all sorted out, I will finally be doing a collection tour, because I know a lot of people have asked me about that. I know you can kind of see my collection in the background, but this isn't even close to all of it. So I can't wait to share everything with you, not just the Hot Toys, but my lightsaber collection, my helmets, my 3.75 Star Wars stuff, my Black Series, all that stuff. So once I get everything sorted out and set up the way I want it, we'll definitely go through and do a collection tour for you all. Apart from that, I know Chris just filmed a video just like I did. Chris, tell us what's going on over on Collecting Madness this week.
So, got a controversial figure here. I just filmed.
It's okay to laugh, guys, by the way. It's totally okay to laugh, because I've been laughing at him.
All over, you know, the Facebook groups and whatnot. So, got a good comparison video coming up.
Oh, it must be bad if I made Lane's thing.
Yeah, so I got that coming up. I have a couple more figures that I have to unbox. I also have Thanos from Connor. Thank you so much for that again. And also, thanks for inviting me, having me on the stream. I got a lot of good stuff going on the channel. And if you decide to subscribe, there's always giveaways going on, etc. We have a goal I set in my new video, trying to reach 500 by the end of the year. If it happens, it happens, but it'd be appreciated.
And for those of you that don't know, every time Chris gets a new subscriber, he'll personally send you a letter with a little kiss on it from him. Like, he actually kissed the letter. So that's cool too. If that's something you're interested in, definitely subscribe to Collecting Madness, because that's a perk of being a subscriber of his channel. So
he's not lying. I got my letter.
Right. So CMB just got his, and Chris had put on some nice like red lipstick, so it was very
that
personalized.
sounds really terrifying.
Lane, don't lie. You would love to receive that in the mail. It's a personal gesture from Chris, a friend of yours.
And
Smelled
it's
of a very
got
fine
that-
mahogany.
No.
Yeah, it's got like that Mentos theme when you open it too. It's like, who says no to collecting?
Right, exactly. So it's like,
It's a nice
what
little
better
pop
time
up.
to subscribe? You know, what better time to
Smells
subscribe?
like barbecue. It's delicious.
There you go. Penn says, I got to figure out how to display the LE boxes and the sabers. Yeah, so for me, as much as I love the boxes, those are going to go in storage because I'm building a kind of an armory in my closet where I've removed all of the lightsaber boxes. So I'm going to have my helmets in the back and then lightsabers mounted on both sides of the walls. So I'm going to have to ditch the boxes somewhere in my house. Steve says, thanks for the stream. Looking forward to the collection tour. Thank you so much, Steve, as always. Guys, also check out Steve's showcase. I believe he recently started his channel, from what I could tell. So give him some support over there. Steve is a really nice guy. Steve is always on basically everything that I post, sharing some love. So we really do appreciate him. He does some awesome stuff over on his channel. And also, again, Mr. Mom's Collectibles, a friend of mine that I've kind of been chatting with very frequently over the past couple of weeks. So definitely check him out. He's a super nice guy and he does some really cool stuff. And he's kind of on that grind like we are, pumping out content. So definitely check out Mr. Mom Collectibles when you get a chance. Also, guys, of course, we have our boy Sean, aka the Hot Toys Nightmare. Check out his channel. It is in the description along with Collecting Madness. Sean, is there anything new going on over at Hot Toys Nightmare this week?
He had to step away.
Well, actually, yeah, I've got a video plan this week. I'm going to be unboxing another vehicle that I purchased. That's my best Sean impression.
And we definitely have Mace Windu coming in 2025 for the Sean Express.
Oh yeah,
God.
that impression I'm not going along with. How dare you?
No,
Don't forget, Lane's buying us swoop bikes for Christmas.
Yeah, no.
He said, yeah, first. You all heard it. He said, yeah.
No.
Yeah, guys.
Caught
Don't
himself
forget
and said no.
before we end the stream here, Lane has graciously agreed to buy everybody on this panel a swoop bike for Christmas. So if you haven't dropped a like, you got to drop a like just for that. You know, just for the generosity's sake. Please drop a like on the stream just for that, just to give Lane kudos for the generosity.
Some boys before coming.
Lane is early in the Christmas spirit. I could tell you that.
Some boys be dropping that acid here recently before we.
But not us, guys. Not us.
That was definitely.
Of course, Steve. Absolutely, you support me. I'm happy to support you, my man. But does anybody else have any closing thoughts or any words of wisdom? Chris, you might have to do Sean's word of wisdom as we close out the stream here, since he's not able to speak it.
And
here
also
at the moment.
smash the like button for Lane's beard. So
yeah,
we can
we're not letting Lane go with that. His New Year's resolution might have to be to grow a beard because he thinks that we're gonna let off. We're not letting off. We're going full steam ahead, foot all the way to on the pedal to the metal.
What you gotta do is grow it out, show everybody, and then shave it off the next day.
Right. It's like you're giving a
Yeah,
charity, and the charity is
yeah.
us as the viewers.
It could be the new rooted hair from my sculpt, from my Anakin.
Right, and then once
You
you're
could
done,
grow
Lane,
the
you can
beard
shave
out,
it and send
and then
Chris.
shave it off, and then donate it.
There you go. I love when Lane's camera's not on because I just can imagine how he looks right now. He's probably so angry. But anyways,
He's fuming. Power
Right.
up.
Right. But yeah, that's all we got for you guys. Sorry for the we're being little jokesters here towards the end. But again, thank you so much everybody for being here. I know it was a shorter stream, but I try not to drag out the little amount of information we have. I know sometimes we could do that and it goes 3 hours plus, but I feel like we covered everything for this week. So I hope you guys had a great time here tonight. Thank you for being with us as always. It means a tremendous amount. And keep an eye out on my channel for the Stealth Suit Captain America review and comparison with the other two endgame releases of Captain America. Again, that will be up probably by mid next week. And you guys know I always throw a little bit of filler content here and there, like some shorts. Guys, check out my short if you haven't already. I had a lot of fun making that. All my boys roasted me the moment I made that, but that's okay. That was my cringy video for the week. So I hope you guys enjoy it. I had a lot of fun making it. And it's just, if you go on my channel, you'll see it in the short section. But yeah, that's it, guys. Have a wonderful night. If you're seeing Black Panther this weekend, I hope you guys enjoy it. Again, I'm seeing it tomorrow, so I hope it's everything I hope for and more. And I hope you guys enjoy it. I think I'm actually might be seeing Black Adam again with a friend because he hasn't been able to see it, so he wants me to go with him. So I think I might be seeing Black Adam on Saturday as well, which I'm
Nice.
happy to because I'm really excited. Dude, Nate runs on his own timer. We call it Nate time. Nate just he's like an Energizer bunny. He never runs out of energy. So kudos to Nate for having that power.
'Cause
I
I'm
certainly
usually his
don't.
wingman, and I stick through the whole thing,
Right,
from
Cigars
beginning
is
to end.
Cigars like, what? Yeah.
What hour is this? 47?
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, I love it. I love it. All right, guys. You guys all have a great night. Once again, thank you so much for being here, and thank you to everybody on the panel for hanging out with me tonight. It means a lot, and it's great to have you guys every week. Take care, everybody.
And in the words of